This is for the ones who were raised on gasoline dreams, for the lug nuts holding tight to the wild red line scenes, for the families that drivers, the wrench turning crews, for the chrome, the smoke, and the ones who refuse to lose. Where horsepower meets heart, yeah, that's who we are. We're a culture, we're a brotherhood, we are rolling motorfied. Build not borrowed, that's the creed written deep in our veins. We turn busted cars into legends and rust into fame. From late night garage grind to race day stadium roars. Every scar on our knuckles unlocked 1,000 doors. We don't back down, we don't break, we don't fold. Every ride we build tells a story worth gold. This is for the ones who were raised on gasoline trains, for the lug nuts holding tight to the wild red line scenes, for the families, the drivers, the wrench turning crews, for the chrome, the smoke, and the ones who refuse to lose. Where horsepower meets heart, yeah, that's who we are. We're a culture, we're a brotherhood, we are rolling motorfied. Here's to the nights when the world said slow down, but the engine said no when we stood our ground. To the ones who grew up rich and when the rest took the easy way, we found our path in the piston noise and we'll ride it every day. Pedal to the metal, this is where we belong. Cars, trucks, monster trucks, loud and strong. Passion, pride, lug nuts, side by side. If you love what you drive, then ride, ride, ride. This is for the legends that started in dusty garages, for the kids who chase dreams through the scars and collages, for the racers who gave everything without fail, and the fans who stand proud when the engines wail. Where horsepower meets heart, yeah, this ain't a phase. It's our passion, our culture, and we'll live it to the grave. Pedal to the metal, forever in our veins. So look out, we're only getting louder from here. Nothing built strong was ever built out of fear. The road is wide open and the fire won't slow, because this isn't a hobby, this is the only life we know. Pedal down, heads high. We're not done. Pedal down, heads high. Pedal down. Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines. You're listening to Pedal to the Metal, Motors and Music, the show where horsepower, stories, and great music come together. From beautiful collector classics, to fire-breathing race cars, to the ground-shaking thunder of monster trucks. This is where the world of motors meets the power of music. So strap in tight, fire up, and grab your favorite cold drink, because a ride is about to begin. And now, here's your host, Roller.
Hey, what? Hey, what? Come on. Come on. Let's Get about it. Watch out. What's up, man? Hey, how you guys doing tonight, man? Glad to see you on here. Thank you very much. You're too kind. No, really, you are. Thank you very much. Beer Garden Riders in the house. You guys doing good? Right on, boys. Good to see you, man. Mezzanine, how you guys doing up there? Hey, you made it. Right on. The ticket's okay? Good to see you, man. Thank you for coming. How are you guys? Everybody's good? Right on, man. Right on. Thank you very much. Let's bring that applause down a little bit. Let's just bring it down a little bit here. You know, I mean that it's just. Hey, what's up, Chad? How you doing? Cousin Debbie, number one lug nut in the house right here, man. We got all kinds of people in the house. All kinds of people in the house tonight. Well, you know, stupid Meta AI support assistant is blocking my comments on my live page on my computer. So I'm sitting there. Hey, Dane, how are you? Dane Rogers in the house, guys. How are you? Glad to see you on here. Anyway, I can't see the comments on the computer side, so I'm working off of comments on the phone. Well, I believe there's a little delay there. So if you guys are asking questions, I'm trying my best not to just reach in and try to find out. If I know Meta AI is just a computer and it's just a program, but Meta AI, if you understand my language, you suck. You absolutely suck. You take everything over and you want to run my show. Take off your damn log box or whatever you want to call it and get it out of here. Man, I'm just, I'm just, I'm just upset. Sorry, I'm upset. I don't even have a drink tonight. I don't even. I should have a drink. That's the problem, cousin Debbie. You didn't supply me with a drink. I don't know what I'm gonna do. It's all cousin Debbie's fault. That's all there is to it. But anyway, guys, we got an awesome show tonight, man. This gentleman first came to my attention through my buddy Texas Rich at C10 America Magazine. He had him on his show, and Rich called me up and says, you got to listen to this podcast that I'm doing with this guy." And I said, "Oh yeah," and he told me about him, and I'll send the Kool-Aid. All right, that sounds good, man. I'll take some Kool-Aid for sure, man. Hello, Janet Clark. Cheers, Rolla. Cheers, right there. Anyway, you have the right to be pissed off with Meta AI. Yes, I guess I do. But anyway, he said this dude is on fire, man. Literally, he said he's a burnout king, and he does burnout competitions in his C10. And the name of his truck is Panda. And he said before we go on air, he said Google it and find out more about Panda. And I did, and my goodness, man, what an awesome story that this gentleman and his lovely wife Emma have. Tyler Watkins and Emma, they travel around to these burnout competitions. Hello there, brother Bob. Yeah, it is going to be the end of us. But anyway, they travel all over and they enter these burnout competitions, man. And I'll tell you what, I'd hate to have his tire bill. Dang, dang. I mean, this truck. Pardon my French, but it's a badass. Okay, this truck is a complete badass. I mean, this truck. I've watched some videos on it and stuff, and this truck when it's under full throttle and he's smoking those tires, damn, damn. That's all I got to say is damn. It's amazing. I can't believe it. I can't wait for the interview, man. I really can't. He's been busy. We've been trying to get him on the show, but he's been busy. And I believe he said he was selling his company and stuff like that, and all the legalities of all that stuff going on and different things like that. It's a big job, man. It's a big job to do that. But anyway, we're gonna have him on. But uh, we've got a pretty full schedule. I say that. But this Wednesday, I still haven't found anybody, but I will. I will find somebody for sure. On the 30th, have Dalton Van Skylock on here. He's a monster truck driver. We'll be talking to him. We've already got a gentleman scheduled for next month, but we'll work on next month and not worried about it. I have to travel um, the very first weekend of September. I'll be going to Minot, North Dakota, and I'll be doing a classic car sale up there with me and my son Jeffrey, and we're going to go hang out. It's kind of like our annual trip. We've been doing this one for quite a while, man, and it's kind of a fun father son getaway. We go. They give us all access passes to the stock car races that night. We get to just hang out, man. Something that we don't do very often, because the fact is he's busy, I'm busy, and it's just really kind of a fun time to just bond and have a good time. And so we'll be doing the sale up there and it's Motor Magic is the name of the auction, and it's a whole weekend event. It's a whole weekend festivities, man. They got car shows and everything, and then that right at the fairgrounds where it's at, they have a roundy round track, and then they have a drag strip just on the other side of it. So, you can go, hello, Jeff Lytle. How are you, buddy? Good to see you, man. Anyway, oh, Jeff, I have got some cool news for you, man. Different things, kinds of setups and stuff, man. I ordered some stuff, but I'll still get you that microphone so you can do your videos and stuff. But when you see this stuff, you're gonna want this stuff coming that I've got coming in. But anyway, so when we go over and we watch the stock car races, because number one, my son's a big NHRA. I'm not NHRA, but a big NASCAR fan. So I just let him go over there and chill and watch the races, and there's some good races, man. There really is. And then we do the auction on Sunday. We fly out Saturday. We stay Saturday night. The auction is Sunday. We stay Sunday night, and then we're back on the airplane like at 6 o'clock in the morning, back to the house. So it's a fun fast trip, but it's our yearly get together, me and him, and we get to go eat steak at this steakhouse that we really like, and it's by the hotel and stuff. And Motor Magic is just a cool place to be, man. It's been around for a long time. If you guys never get a chance to get up there to Minot, make sure you guys check it out. Kind of schedule your vacation up there around this time, because then it's not so hot up there. It's actually pretty nice. So it's I'll have to check Debbie if I can do that. But right now during maybe I can do that when I'm playing some music or something. I'll check and see. But anyway, just today we went to a really good family friend's son's celebration of life. Brett and Rhonda Wager. We met. Of course, I met Brett working at the auction. He was an auctioneer at the time, and his beautiful wife. She helped us. She helped us. She works for Remax, and she helped us purchase the roller dome, man. And she got us all hooked up, and they've just become like family, And their youngest son, he passed away, and this boy was a true cowboy. He was a young kid, but he was an old soul. I think he was born in the 1800s, back in the cowboy days, because this boy, he I say boy, he was a young man. Okay, I'm sorry about that, man, but he was nothing. He ate, drank, and slept being a cowboy. He was a marvelous. I mean, a marvelous equestrian kind of guy. He just lived on the back of a horse, and he did so much. He traveled all over as a team roper, and he was very good at what he did, man. And he suddenly passed away. He was in a car accident a while back and lived through a lot of pain and stuff like that. And uh, you know, sometimes you try things to try to help you uh, get rid of the pain, and it ends up being tainted. Let's just say that. What he took was tainted, okay? And it took his life, man. It really did. So we were over there today, and we celebrated Jake's memory of life and stuff. And was just really a really good time to be there and have some fellowship with some friends that I hadn't seen in a while. Plus, got to meet a lot of new people that I had never met before. And my buddy Kenny Holsworth, he got up there and he officiated the ceremony and stuff. And it was tough, man. It was tough for all of us because of the bond we have with the Wager family, you know. But it was just nice to be there for them and be there for support. So we're gonna play. I've been working for the past few days on Jake's tribute song, and I sent it to Brett and Rhonda this morning, and I told them, I said, I want you to open it until you get home and everything's just chill, you know, until the day is over with. They got a big team roping going on today, and they're gonna have the proceeds go to this foundation that they have for Jake and stuff like that. So they're doing it right in their name of their son, and I support them 100%, man. They're just good people, and if you ever get a chance, you need to go buy a truck or something. Go down to Who Motors down there in Kiowa and buy that next vehicle from Brett, because they have a really nice little lot. It's a big lot for a small town. I'll promise you that right now. They're the only dealership in town, and you can't miss them. So if you get a chance, go down to Who Motors and go in there and talk to Brett, okay? But anyway, we're going to go ahead and we're going to play some ads right fast from our sponsors, and then we'll get into some music, and then at 7 o'clock we'll be talking to Tyler. We'll be right back here on Pedal to the Metal, Motors and Music.
You're listening to Pedal to the Metal, Motors and Music, where the engines are loud and the music hits just as hard. Classic cars, hot rods, monster trucks, and the stories behind the builds, mixed with the music that fuels the ride. From the show field to the arena floor, we bring you the horsepower and the center to match. Stick around, we got more coming your way. But first, a word from our sponsors.
Looking to bring your ride back to life, or just clean it up and make that beater look better than ever? At Sunrise Rod and Custom, we turn worn out into wow. From rust repair to full restoration to complete customization, we got you covered. Need collision repair, body work, no problem. Need something to stand out at the next show? We specialize in pinstriping, custom lettering, and one-of-a-kind paint that makes your ride truly yours. Whether it's a classic cruiser or a shop truck, we take pride in every detail because your ride deserves it. Located in colorful Colorado, Sunrise Rod and Custom is your go-to shop for craftsmanship that turns heads. Call Jeff Lytle today at 983-217-3239. That's 983-217-3239. Sunrise Rod and Custom, we don't just fix cars, we bring them back to life and a whole lot more.
If you're tired of the same recycled playlists and ready for something with real energy, turn your dial, or better yet, go online and lock this in. Introducing the Edge Radio US, based out of Louisiana, and streaming worldwide at theedgeradious.com. This isn't just another internet station. This is where rock and roll live. Everything from the classics that built the foundation to the new bands that are lighting it up today. All genres, all eras, all real music. With over 49,000 listeners per minute worldwide, the Edge Edge Radio US is bringing people together through sound, attitude, and pure music culture. Stream it free, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and take it anywhere you go. And it doesn't stop at music. The Edge also features talk shows covering racing, faith-based topics, celebrity news, new music, and everything in between. There's something for everybody on the dial.
Behind it all is Johnny Blender down in Louisiana. Not just running the station, but building hot rods, classic cars, and muscle machines out of his shop in true gearhead fashion.
Want to get involved?
Yes, I do.
Email edgeradious@gmail.com. Sponsorships and show opportunities are available. That's the Edge.
Radio US, where music, motors, and real talk meet. And now, we return to pedal to the metal. Motors and music. With your host, Roller.
Okay, guys, we're back. We're back. I've been trying to expand viewership for the show, so I've been doing some TikTok live stuff, and it's been, I figured out what I was doing wrong, and so I'm going to try some stuff, and hopefully that does that. But to get back to the comments, what Rahul and my cousin Debbie are talking about, I was doing a TikTok live video, and I pulled out one of these gum cigarettes, and I started putting it in my mouth, and I was blowing smoke out of it. And this is the second time this has happened. TikTok got on there and said promoting habits that are unhealthy to your health are can cause problems or something like that. I started laughing. I was like, they're even telling me what I can and can't do, man. They just want to run your life. They just want you to take and empty your wallet. Here you go. Here you go. Here's the keys to the house. Here's the titles to the cars. Here's the deed to the property. Here you go. Just take over my life and tell me what to do. I'm your robot. I mean, oh my God. I don't know. It's just a pet peeve. That's all. I'm just pet peeving it. That's what I'm doing. But anyway, no, these are just gum cigarettes. I got hooked on them because my cousin Debbie, she's the main reason. No, that's not the truth. That's not the truth. I got them for when I did the Night Owls car show for me and Raul and a few of us. We had them rolled up in our sleeve. Well, I happened to have a plethora of gum candy cigarettes in my office here. So anyway, until they're gone, I'm going to be smoking gum candy cigarettes. That's what I'm going to be doing. So, but anyway, here's that tribute song to Jake Wager. He's got an uncle, I guess, from what I found out today, that's a big detective down in the Pueblo Police Department. I don't know if anybody's listening from Pueblo, if they know him or not, but I got to meet him today. Nice guy, man, really is. I mean, I probably wouldn't want to run into him being a criminal element, but anyway, that's the way it goes. But this one here is called One More Cowboy Ride. We'll be right back here on Pedal to the Metal, Motors and Music.
Born beneath that Colorado sky, with cowboy blood and a restless eye. From Cowhand Roads to Elizabethtown, he learned real young
how to hold his ground. Football fields and a rodeo dream, a horse beneath him and a good roping team. He didn't need much to know who he was, just an open gate and a little red dust. There's one more cowboy in heaven tonight, one more saddle riding into the light, one more rope swinging high and free across God's range for eternity. Down here we're gonna miss that grin, but we know someday we'll ride again. Till then, Lord, keep that gate open wide. There's one more cowboy on the other side. He joined the PRCA and hit the road, chasing that dream wherever it goes. From Colorado arenas to towns far away, he'd back in the box and come out ready to play. The Mountain States Finals knew his name. Team roping wasn't just some game, it was timing and trust and cowboy pride. And Jake gave everything every time he rode inside. There's one more cowboy in heaven tonight, one more saddle riding into the light, one more rope swinging high and free across God's range for eternity. Down here we're gonna miss that grin, but we know someday we'll ride again. Till then, Lord, keep that gate open wide. There's one more cowboy on the other side. He loved good horses, cattle and dogs, early mornings and long days on the job, an old school cowboy through and through. If there was work that needed doing, Jake knew what to do. He could take a horse and bring out the best, with steady hands and cowboy sense. And the people who knew him will always say, men like Jake don't come along every day. Brett and Rhonda raised a cowboy son, Dustin rode beside him through the years that run. And family and friends still speak his name, because 38 years can't measure a man's flame. So when you hear a rope cut through the air, or hoofbeats rolling somewhere out there, maybe that's Jake riding another round on heaven's wide open cowboy ground. There's one more cowboy in heaven tonight, one more saddle riding into the light, one more rope swinging high and free across God's range for eternity. And though goodbye came way too soon, his memory rises beneath every moon, till that day we meet him on the other side. Keep that gate open, Lord,
for one more cowboy ride. So hang his rope beside the saddle with pride. Let the Colorado wind carry his name far and wide. A cowboy's trail doesn't end when he goes. It lives in every heart that knew him. Jake Wager. Right on. Right on.
There you go, Jakey. That's for you, buddy. I'm so glad that I got to meet you. Anyway, as most of you know, a radio station out of Louisiana has been kind enough to give me an hour playtime every Monday, and allowing me to play my music. And Johnny Blender's the gentleman that owns a radio station out of Louisiana, and it goes all over the world. I mean, it's pretty powerful, and he runs this out of his garage, this radio station. Anyway, Johnny's been in the radio station business for a long, long time, and you know, he's been really very kind to me by giving me this hour on his show and not charging me anything for it and stuff. And man, I just I don't know how you repay a gift like that, you know, because it's always been my dream to be able to get my music out there so that not only like you guys can hear it, but other people around the world can hear it, you know. And he has a big military following, and so it's, hello, Tyler, what's up, brother? Tyler Watkins in the house, baby. He's in the house. But anyway, Johnny is just really such a cool guy, and he called me the other day, and he goes, you know, Roller, he said, I think my wife has lost it. And I said, what do you mean, bro? What's wrong? And he said, this morning she's walking around. This is Sunday, on a Sunday. He said, this morning she's walking around singing hymns and stuff like that because, you know, we just got back from church and all that. And he said, we sat down, we had some lunch, and he said, she just changed. And I said, what do you mean she changed? And he goes, Roller, he said, she's walking around to the house saying, I got a new song for Roller, and she's making up words for it, and she's singing it, and the name of the song is called Tits and Tears. And I started laughing because he just can't figure out his wife, you know. He's like, I don't understand what's going on. And I said, well, it sounds like something like that I need to probably help her out with and come up with something, you know, and maybe make this song. So I come up with the lyrics to this song, and we make it, and I send it to him, and he said, oh, man, we love it, and she loves it, and they were playing it on the radio station and all that. Well, this song has been the most requested song that he's ever had since he's been on the radio show and had it out of his house. He said, I've had over 200 people request this song. And he said, Roller, every time you do something, you're setting a new record for the radio station. I mean, we did last week's show, and Johnny calls me right in the middle of the show. He goes, man, I just had to share this with you right now. He said, we're at 75,000 followers right now while your music's playing. And I said, wow, that's damn good, you know. And he said, the thing is, when your show started, we were a lot less than that, and now it's up to 75,000. So, you know, we talked a little bit more and got back. He says, I'm going to let you go because I want to listen to this music and all that. And the next day he texts me and he says, during your show, the viewership went up to 85,000 people. And he said there was a lot of IP addresses that were blacked out because that means those were military people. And he said that means that the military is listening to the, you know, soldiers and stuff are listening to your music on your plan. He says they're starting to tune in every week. And so it's really, there's Mr. Scott Goodhue, man. I just played Jakey's song, Scott. I didn't let you hear it because I wanted to, I wanted Brett and Rhonda to be the first to hear it. So I'll have to play it for you or send it to you, and you can play it, man. It's a tribute to Jake. So, and then plus you stuck around a little bit later on today. I want to find out exactly how the roping went and stuff. But anyway, so getting back to Johnny Blender, he said, man, just keep it up. Just keep up doing what you're doing. He says the numbers are great. He said your show's great. He said you're easy to work with. He says you get your stuff in on time, because I have to send a new playlist in to him every week, and I try to get that done on Tuesday so he has it for the following Monday. So he has that information, and that's just one thing. That's one thing that, yeah, I will play it here again in a minute there, Debbie, for sure. But anyway, just really happy with the way things are going with Johnny Blender and stuff on the Edge Radio. I think it's a good fit for me, and you know, and he hasn't said, hey man, we're done. Thank you very much for doing what you've done. He's talking about continuing on doing future stuff, and that's cool. So I look forward to doing that. And he also every once in a while say, hey man, I'm kind of busy. Can you do this for me? And man, I'll hook him up and do something. You know, if I need to make a commercial spot or something like that, I'll do that for him and send it in. So we work good together is what it is, basically. And Johnny's radio station, it plays top 40 music. I mean, it's not just an AI radio station or an indie artist radio station. It's, you know, there's the Stones. I mean, 1 minute you'll be listening to the Rolling Stones, and then all of a sudden here comes my group, you know, and it's kind of cool. So yeah, I know, I think I seen you on there. I'm not sure, Debbie, but anyway, I'm gonna play Tits and Tears for you right now. It's kind of a funny song, and just, you never know. I guess what I'm trying to say is you never know what's going to be requested the most by people in the world today. So here it is right now, Tits and Tears.
That same old bar, park my truck underneath that neon star. A buddy said, boy, you gotta get her off your mind. So I ordered up a double and said, hell, I'll try. There were long-legged girls and long-necked beers, a jukebox drowning out another bad year. I came looking for something to make her disappear, and wound up surrounded by tits and tears. Everybody's laughing like nobody hurts. Everybody's hiding something under those shirts. Some come looking for love, some come looking for cheers, some just come for the tits and tears. Tits and tears, whiskey and smoke, pretty little promises nobody spoke. A little bit of heaven till the morning appears, then it's empty bar stools and tits and tears. You can chase that feeling, you can drown those years, you can hold somebody close, but she still ain't here. I thought I'd find a cure between the bottles and beers. All I found was tits and tears. She slid beside me in a little black dress, said you look like a man who could use some forgive. I bought her a drink, she bought me some time, but halfway through the second round she started to cry. Said some cowboy left her 3 weeks ago. Now she comes here every Friday putting on a show. I laughed and said, honey, looks like we're both volunteers in this Friday night circus. Said, tits and tears, tits and tears, whiskey and smoke, pretty little promises nobody spoke. A little bit You can chase that feeling, you can drown those years, you can hold somebody close, but she still ain't here. I thought I'd find a cure between the bottles and beers. All I found was tits and tears. Last call came and the lights came on. Funny how the magic disappears before dawn. Mascara running, lonely hearts getting clear. Ain't much left but the truth in the mirror. And I finally figured out what brought me here. It wasn't the whiskey, the women, or the beer. I was looking for the one thing I lost last year, trying to find her in tits and tears. Tits and tears, whiskey and smoke, broken hearts hiding behind dirty jokes. Everybody's bulletproof till closing time nears. Then the truth comes out in tits and tears. I can chase that feeling for another 10 years, but another pretty stranger won't bring you back here. So I laid down my money and walked out of there, left behind those tits and tears. Yeah, I came looking for something to make you disappear, but some hearts don't heal on tits and tears.
All right, there you go, tits and tears, man. So anyway, I got one of my brothers here on here, man. Mr. Steve Becker's in the house here, man, and we call him AKA Timmy, and him and his girl Cinnamon, who's in the women's prison there in Canyon City, they're watching live right now. So it's live right there from the prison in or did she get out, Timmy? I guess I don't know. I haven't talked to you in a while, so I guess I probably ought to find out if she got out. And then Jeff and Janet Rollins, what's up? How y'all doing, man? Good to see you in here. We're gonna be playing your song here in just a minute, man. We got a good show tonight, guys. We really do. You guys are gonna like to listen to Tyler, and I know Tyler's in here, and I hope Emma's gonna be with him and that she can interact with us on the show and stuff. So, just a really it's gonna be a good night tonight here. I can already tell, man. But anyway, since I had Dean Gunther and Haley Bear on the show, I have been asked by the Colorado Auctioneers Association to help be part of the convention this year. They want me to film the Ringman competition, the fun auction, and then the next night they want me to film the big auction where they get crowned for the Colorado State champ. And I'm really excited about it. And I made a song for them about the Colorado Auctioneers Association, and they're going to play it at the big dinner on Friday night as people are walking in. And I thought, I ought to do a few more auctioneer songs. So I've done a couple of more of those. Really, I haven't slept very much lately. I've been kind of down. When Mrs. Roller goes to bed, I jam on down here to the studio, man. I'm doing a TikTok. I'm doing songs. It's been kind of hectic, man. But I guess we'll just sleep when we die. That's what it's all about. Excuse me, I got the hiccups now. Must be these filtered gum cigarettes is what it is. I've gone to the filters. The non-filters were a little bit little tough, God, or some tricks. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and play this one here. This is the song, it's for the Colorado Auctioneers Association, and it's called More Than a Trophy. We'll be right back here on Pedal to the Metal, Motors and Music.
I was young when I first heard that rhythm roll. That auction chant got down inside my soul. With a microphone and a dream in my hand, I practiced every evening just to understand. Every number, every breath, every word had to land. I wanted to earn my place behind that stand. I knew being good wasn't good enough for me. There was a better auctioneer I wanted to be. So I packed my bags and headed down the road to learn from the people who already know. Colorado auctioneers, side by side, passing down a craft we carry with pride. There's always something more to learn, and respect is something you have to earn. It's more than a trophy, more than first place, more than hearing your name and seeing that smile on your face. It's every class, every lesson, every mile along the way, every auctioneer who took the time to show you a better way. And if someday they call my name, I'll remember why I came to represent Colorado with honor and pride, and help the next young auctioneer coming up behind. Yeah, winning's an honor, but here's what it means to me. I'm carrying the pride of the CAA with me. At the convention I sit in the front row seat, listening to the best talk business with me, learning the rules, learning right from wrong, how reputation keeps a career running strong, contracts and ethics, laws we need to know, how to treat the seller and work that auction floor. Then it's contest day and my heart beats fast. All those hours of practice come down to this at last. I straighten my tie, take a long deep breath, step to the microphone and give it my best. 'Cause whether I win or I walk away, I'm a better auctioneer than I was yesterday. It's more than a trophy, more than first place, more than hearing your name and seeing that smile on your face. It's every class, every lesson, every mile along the way, every auctioneer who took the time to show you a better way. And if someday they call my name, I'll remember why I came to represent Colorado with honor and pride, and help the next young auctioneer coming up behind. Yeah, winning's an honor, but here's what it means to me. I'm carrying the pride of the CAA with me. Someday there'll be a young kid standing where I stood, wondering if he'll ever be that good. I'll shake his hand and tell him, take your time, learn the business, respect the craft, and you'll be fine. Because somebody once believed in me, now it's my turn to be what they used to be. A teacher, a mentor, a steady hand, helping another auctioneer take that stand. It's more than a trophy, more than first place. It's representing every auctioneer across this state. It's education, competition, friendship, and pride, standing for this profession with Colorado by your side. And if they ever call my name, I'll never forget from where I came. I'll wear that championship with humility and give something back to this industry, because the greatest prize ain't hanging on a wall, it's helping somebody else when it's their turn to call. From the mountains to the plains, that's what it means to me. Standing proud with the CAA and my auction family. Keep learning, keep calling, keep passing it down, because 'cause a champion isn't only the one who wins, it's the one who helps build the next one.
More than a trophy right here on Pedal to the Metal, Motors of Music. You know, I tell you what, I really have to thank Scott Goodhue for getting this association going. I mean, there's a lot of young blood in there, but Scotty went in there and he said, I'm going to get everybody to join up again, and I know I joined. I'm going to join. I've got my application all filled out. I'll be turning my money in on Tuesday. But, you know, he's just such a leader, man, and it's great to have a friend that's a great leader. So I'm going to play a song here, another Auctioneer song, and this is called The Auctioneer's Prayer. And this is just one of the auction songs that I'm working on. When I'm done, I hope to have 10 to 12 of these. Hi, Carter. How are you? Anyway, that's all right, baby girl. You got to have fun too. You don't have to be here every night. You're not getting a paycheck, so you might as well enjoy your life. Anyway, this here is called The Auctioneer's Prayer, and we're just going to go ahead and play that for you right now.
Before the trucks come rolling in, before the first bid starts, before I take that microphone, Lord, settle down my heart. There's more beneath these old things than what the eye can see. Every piece belonged to someone, now they've trusted it to me. Lord, give me a voice that's strong and clear, and the wisdom to be fair. Let every man who raises his hand know there's honesty standing there. Help me remember when the hammer falls, it's more than what things bring. There's a lifetime in these boxes, there's a story in everything. Let me serve these folks the best I can. That's this auctioneer's prayer. That tractor fed a family, those tools built someone's home. That rocking chair held babies who've got babies of their own. There's a wedding ring in a little box, and an old watch daddy wore. To some they're only things for sale, to someone there's so much more. Lord, give me a voice that's strong and clear, and the wisdom to be fair. Let every man who raises his hand know there's honesty standing there. Help me remember when the hammer falls, it's more than what things bring. There's a lifetime in these boxes, there's a story in everything. Let me serve these folks the best I can. That's this auctioneer's prayer. I've called beneath the summer sun and through the winter cold. I've watched a young man buy his first and watched an old man let things go. I've seen a widow turn away when daddy's truck was sold, and learned the things we leave behind are worth much more than gold. Someday my voice will quiet down, my final sale will end. Someone else will take the microphone and call those bids again. When my old gavel's laid to rest There's just one thing I pray, that folks will say I gave them fair and did things the right way. Lord, thank you for this voice you gave, and every sale I've shared, for every family who trusted me to handle what they cared for. And when I call my final lot and there's nothing left to sell, I don't need my name in lights, just let them say I served them well. Let me leave this business better than the day I entered there. And until you call me home, Lord, that's this auctioneer's prayer. Give me honesty in every word, and fairness in every call. And when that final hammer falls, Lord, let me know I gave my all.
That auctioneer's prayer right here on Pedal to the Metal, Motors and Music. You know, I follow my buddy Texas Rich a lot, and you know, I love seeing the interactions between him and the people that follow him too. And there's a gentleman and his wife that they follow. They're on there all the time. They're supporting him and everything. And I've never met him in my life. Just through text messages is what we've talked. But I know that these people have a good heart. And I like to do things for people that have good hearts. And Jeff and Janet Rollins, they support Rich, and they do a fabulous job. And I told them the other day, I said, you know, I need to do a song about you guys and your truck and stuff like that. And so we got together, and we've been working on this song, and this is called Bow Tie Heart. I just wanted to play it for you guys right here. This is a tribute to Jeff and Janet Rollins.
Jeff was born in Birmingham, Alabama, back in 1966. Raised around his daddy and his uncle's old Chevys, hot rods and turning wrenches. By 14 he was behind the wheel with gasoline already in his veins. There was bow tie blood inside that boy long before he knew its name. Janet came along 1 year behind him. Birmingham was her hometown too, with Asheville roots back in her family and plenty of Chevrolet blood running through. Then in 1986 they met at Jeff's first full-time job one day, and their first date was in a Chevy C10. You might say it started the Chevrolet way. He was born with a bow tie heart, and she had Chevy in her blood. They built a life on love and family, chrome and steel and garage dust. From that first ride in a C10, they've been together from the start. Jeff and Janet built a lifetime with a bow tie heart. They said forever in 1989, then Shelby came in 1991. And that little the trucks they worked on just for fun. There was always another project waiting, another long night underneath the lights. Truck shows, cruise-ins, family road trips, and weekends that turned into late nights. They were born with a bow tie heart, with Chevrolet running through their veins. Every truck became another chapter, every mile another family name. Kenny riding there beside him, Shelby growing up a part of a family built on love and one big bow tie heart. Now there's a red 1985 C10 square body custom deluxe Chevrolet 305 and an automatic. Still proud of how she came back in the day. 4.6 drop, sitting low and clean, red legacy with American mags. Factory sold with just enough attitude, a Chevy wearing family pride like a badge. She's been polished for the truck shows, she's been driven like a truck should be. Not some trailer queen behind a velvet rope, she's a rolling piece of family history. And C10 America told her story, issue number 10 put her on the page. That red square body became another chapter in a lifelong Chevrolet age. Jeff sees more than red paint shining, more than wheels and polished chrome. He sees his daddy and his uncles, he sees Janet, Shelby and home. Every busted knuckle had a reason, every long night played its part. You don't build this kind of legacy unless it's coming from the heart. He was born with a bow tie heart, and Janet had Chevy in her blood. They raced Shelby around those C10s, family horsepower, faith and love. From Birmingham to every highway, every show and every start, there's a red C10 still carrying that family's bow tie heart. Yeah, there'll always be a Chevy somewhere underneath those garage lights. Another story, another memory, another road on another night. Jeff, Janet, Shelby know what mattered most right from the start. It wasn't only about the trucks, they were born with a bow tie heart. 1986, one Chevy C10, two young hearts, and the beginning of a lifetime. Long nights, long weekends, family, memories keep on trucking.
There you go, man. Jeff and Janet, I hope you guys like your song, man. What time is it here? It's 6:48. We got time for a couple more, and then we're going to get on the phone and start our interview with Tyler. So this one here is called When Summer Goes Cold, right here on Pedal to the Metal, Motors and Music.
There's still some snow on the mountain peaks, though July is warm down below. The river runs clear through the aspen shade, where the high country wildflowers grow. There's an old screen door on a weathered cabin, and a rocking chair out by the road. You learn to enjoy every warm summer day, 'cause up here summer soon goes cold. By August the nights start coming on early. There's a chill when the sun settles down. First frost shines silver on the meadow grass, and the aspens start turning around. The elk move down from the timberline, and the bears know what nobody told. There's a change in the wind off the continental divide that says summer is starting to go cold. When summer goes cold in the Rockies and gold starts covering the hills, there's smoke from a chimney at sundown and snow waiting high on the hills. You can feel Mother Nature turning the page like a story 1,000 years old. There's a beauty that comes with the changing of time when summer in the mountains goes cold. The trout stream slow in the morning. There's ice round the edge of the pond. The geese draw a line across the western sky, headed south before winter comes on. The firewood stacked by the back porch wall, and the old wool blankets unfold. Another Rocky Mountain summer slips away when the nights start turning cold. When summer goes cold in the Rockies and gold starts covering the hills, there's smoke from a chimney at sundown and snow waiting high on the hills. You can feel Mother Nature turn the page like a story 1,000 years old. There's a beauty that comes with the changing of time when summer in the mountains goes cold. Seems life ain't much different than seasons. We all get our moment to shine. Then the colors change and the years roll on, and nothing can hold back time. So I'll thank the Lord for the warm days I've had and the memories I'll always hold. 'Cause there's something worth loving in every season, even when summer goes cold. When summer goes cold in the Rockies and the first snow covers the pines, there's a fire burning warm in the window, and the peace you just can't
still call these mountains heaven on earth. Even when summer goes cold, there's still some snow on the mountain peaks. Though July is warm down below, the river runs clear through the aspen shade, where the high country wildflowers grow. And there's an old screen door on the weather cabin, and a rocking chair out by the road. You learn to enjoy every warm summer day, 'cause up here summer soon goes cold. By August the nights start coming on early. There's a chill when the sun settles down. First frost shines silver on the meadow grass, and the aspen.
You're listening to Pedal to the Metal. Motors and music. Where the engines are loud and the music hits just as hard. Classic cars, hot rods, monster trucks, and the stories behind the builds, mixed with the music that fuels the ride. From the show field to the arena floor, we bring you the horsepower and the center to match. Stick around, we got more coming your way. But first, a word from our sponsors.
Attention hot rodders, custom builders, truck fans, and motorcycle riders! Get ready for the White Buffalo Car Show coming to downtown Snyder, Texas on Saturday, October 3rd, 2026. Cruise into the heart of Snyder and enjoy a full day packed with classic cars, custom trucks, motorcycles, live music, great food, vendors, shopping around the square, and fun for the whole family. With 25 classes, awards, and even a furthest traveled award, there's something for every kind of ride. Registration is just $20, and all proceeds stay local to support area charities and community programs. And don't miss your chance to meet Texas rich with C10 America during this huge downtown celebration. Plus, cruise into the Friday night meet and greet on October 2nd before the band starts rocking. So polish up that chrome, shine those wheels, and head to the White Buffalo Car Show in downtown Snyder, Texas! The White Buffalo Car Show, where horsepower, hometown pride, and Texas tradition come together. Looking for artwork that stands out from the crowd? Whether you're building a brand, promoting your business, or creating something truly one of a kind, Digitized Ink Co. brings your ideas to life with professional digital artwork and custom design services. From logos and graphics to custom illustrations and creative designs that leave a lasting impression. Digitized Ink Co. combines today's technology with traditional artistic values to give every project the attention it deserves. Need a fresh new look for your business, club, team, or special event? Let Digitized Ink Co. create something you'll be proud to show off. Call today at 435-650-7657. Visit digitizedinkco.com
or email digitizedinco@gmail.com. Digitized Inco, cutting edge design, tready. And now, we return to pedal to the metal. Motors and music. With your host, Roller.
All right, we're back. We're back, guys. Let's give Tyler a call and see if he's ready to get this on, get this interview on. Everything sounds good so far.
Hello.
Tyler,
Yes, sir.
what's up, man? It's Roller. How you doing?
How you doing, brother? You doing all right?
You know what, dude? Yeah, I really am. We had we've had a good weekend. We were at a car show. I know I needed. I was talking. Oh, never mind. My buddy BJ, come in here just a minute. I'm sorry. I got to get a haircut. You're right, BJ. But we were at a car show down in Elizabeth, Colorado this weekend, and it was turning out to be a great one. And then Mother Nature decided to let everybody have a free wash, and it just kind of ruined it, man. So we come back. But yeah, it was a good one, dude. It really was, man. How about you? Did you guys do anything with the truck?
Yeah. So we started working on it. We're trying to get ready for LS Fest. LS Fest here in less than about 3 weeks. So we got some big obligations there. So we went ahead and pulled the small motor out and that 4L60 that's plumb wore out.
Uh-huh.
And got some new stuff for the rear diff, and we got a little 408 stroker going in there with a turbo 400. So we're pretty much rebuilding the whole truck within just a few weeks, and we're doing that in our evenings and on our weekends. So that's pretty much taking all our extra time right now, but we gotta make sure it's there and doing its thing.
Yeah, guaranteed, man. Guaranteed. It's such a cool story, Number one, thank you for being on the show, taking the time out of your busy day, because this is time you could be working on the truck, and I really appreciate it. But I think your message with the truck and stuff is definitely deserves to be heard by an audience, So I wanted to be able to do that. So thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Oh, I appreciate you having us. Anytime I get out the story, potentially be a fan or introduce somebody to the Burnout world, or help somebody along the way with LS stuff. That's the biggest thing for us. So we appreciate the opportunity to be able to come on, and it's just another stepping stone. You know how it is, man.
Yeah.
Every little step and every little piece, that's how you build it. So
That's the truth, man.
we're happy to be here.
Well, that's good. To start it off, why don't you, Tyler, tell us, before we get into Panda and the Burnout world, tell everybody a little bit about yourself and where did you grow up and what was it like being you as a young lad?
Well, I grew up mostly here in Arkansas, but I did move around a lot. So I went to a lot of different schools and whatnot. I've always been intrigued by the motorsports world, but I got with my wife in the 9th grade, and we had our kids young, so we had to kind of figure out life before we could really dive into it and decide this is a lifestyle that we wanted to pursue and something we were able to pursue. So we really got into it about 6 or 7 years ago. We got real serious about it and said, okay, this is what we want to do. I was a professional tattoo artist for 10 years. We owned a tattoo shop before opening this shop, and it's kind of, the passion kind of died for the tattoo thing, and it's really fueled for this, and it really drives us, and it's not just something I can enjoy, but my wife enjoys it, my kids enjoy it. We've got a great group of friends that go out and enjoy it with us, and we've met some of the coolest people that you could ever think of meeting just from going out and doing hot rod stuff. It's pretty awesome, man. It's a dream. It's definitely living a dream.
Right. Who had the biggest influence on your life for love for cars, trucks, and racing and horsepower?
Honestly, Ken Block is a big one.
Yeah.
And then of course,
Good
as far
choice.
as what I do now with the burnout stuff, um, there's a group that really set the pace for me. That it was really the first people I ever saw doing it here in America, and I was just kind of mind blown. I was like, oh man, I got to get in on that, and that's Skids for Kids. So I got to give a huge shout out to Skids for Kids. They're a nonprofit organization that helps make children comfortable in hospitals across the country by going out and popping tires and raising money and doing toy drives and stuff like that. So that was like really the first group that I seen out doing what I'm currently doing. That I was like, man, I gotta get in on that. But I never really growing up. I was never really big into like one single motorsport. But I always loved like Ken Block, and then Travis Pastrana kind of transitioned when I was a little younger. So that was
All right.
it was awesome to watch him transition from motorcycles over to and stunts over to world class driving.
Right.
And of course the legends, the typical legends, Dale, number three.
Yeah.
But I wasn't a big NASCAR guy really up until the last probably year and a half or so. I've really gained a lot of respect for that sport, and find it more intriguing by the day.
Right. Who do you follow in NASCAR? Who's your guy?
I like that newer kid that just kind of popped up and started dominating, Carson. I like him. I like Cleats. Cleats starting to get into it a little bit. He's
Right.
not big up into the NASCAR stuff yet, but uh, I'll be honest, man. I don't sit and watch the races, but I try to keep up with the the skill and what it takes to do it is
Right.
more. I'm kind of like the in car stuff and the action and the kind of getting to watch what really goes into it. I like to hear like Dale Jr. talk on podcasts with other NASCAR drivers about
Yeah.
just experiences and certain crashes, and then when you're out there and you got to do this, or how the draft works, and really how to work the racetrack and work with the other drivers.
Sure.
So it's just to know, like, it's, I don't know. I grew up in an area where it was kind of like NASCAR was like just another left turn. It was the running joke of that. So
Right.
to really dive into it and see like, oh man, this is actually one of the most intense motorsports on the planet. It's pretty, I don't know, mind opening, I guess you could say.
Yeah. I used to watch it with my grandfather, uh, my mom's dad, a lot. He was into that racing and stuff, back in the day when Petty and all of them there were. And those guys, they just drove for the pure fun of driving, man. They were smokers and partiers and hell raisers. And it has changed so much as compared to the drivers nowadays. These drivers nowadays are on a physical fitness regimen,
Oh yeah,
eating
yeah.
right, and stuff. But can you imagine going that many laps in a car that the inside temperature is just, well, it's burned a lot of guys' feet and stuff like that, and just and it gets so hot in there that the water kind of burns your body and stuff because of your sweat and stuff. I mean, that's a warrior, man. I believe anyway.
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely a strength of stamina and full blown endurance, not just for a machine but also for the driver.
Yeah.
And I think that's really one reason I have a newfound respect for it. Of course, and like monster trucks, everybody loves monster trucks.
Right.
Those are awesome. And I also grew up watching like a little bit of trophy truck racing, and just I've always been
Right.
fascinated by the long suspension travel, off road. Uh, I just think it's awesome, man. Like I love motorsports just as a whole,
Yeah.
but Burnout's just kind of where I landed. It's the most exhilarating thing I've ever done in my life, honestly. The crowds get you hyped. The other drivers are awesome. We come from a small drag racing background, and it's night and day difference in culture and world and vibe. When you pull into a track. So I don't know. It's a growing sport. It's still new here in America. It's it's an Australian sport,
Uh-huh.
and they gave us their blessing to really push it here, and it's really grown over the last few years, and we're fortunate to be a part of it. It's wild. The best way we can the best way we can describe it is controlled chaos, but that's exactly what it is. You know, it's everything's controlled. It's kind of like stunt driving in a sense, but there's fire, there's smoke, there's a little bit of everything, but it's a
Sure.
great time, man, and everybody has fun. So it's a blast.
Now, is Panda a well-known name over in Australia? Are they aware of your truck?
I there's a few that know of it. We went to the Australians, they actually, one of their events that they have over there is called Summer Nats, and they brought that over here to the U.S. for the first time. You know, they had the very first Summer Nats USA back in March down at the Freedom Factory where Cletus McFarland's at, and we had the privilege of going down there and competing with those guys down there. So I'm sure there's probably a few of them, and we got a few guys on Facebook, but realistically, Panda is nothing compared to some of these actual burnout cars that are out there, burnout trucks that are out there.
Hmm.
Most of them, I would say probably 8 out of 10 of them have got big roots blowers, and they're man, they've got. It's kind of like you look at like small tire racing and like what goes into building a small tire car. These guys take it that serious just to do burnouts, and Panda's coming around now to pretty much be a purpose built burnout truck, but it doesn't have the power and a couple of the other things that some of the serious heavy hitters have. Even here in America, we've got some really awesome, super built stuff here in America that my truck just doesn't even compare to. Uh, I don't know. I think for Panda's biggest thing is it does have a really unique backstory. It has a whole purpose in why it goes out in the wild and does what it does.
Right.
So that's a big thing for us, and a lot of people can't believe the truck's naturally aspirated. So I think it kind of gives a little bit of shock value there. We keep it all motor, and I drive it, and I beat the snot out of it every chance I get.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm sure to answer the question though, I'm sure there's a few good handful of the OG Australians in the burnout world that know the truck, but I don't think it has a huge name over there.
Right. Right. You know, uh, it naturally aspirated reminds me of I spent over 25 years in the monster truck business, and there was a gentleman by the name of Jess Berge, and he had a truck called Playing for Keeps, and Jess ran a naturally aspirated truck, and he was a contender, man. He would whoop up on them blowing trucks and stuff, man, and he loved it. I mean, he loved showing what that little truck could really do and stuff, and the right tune, the right parts and pieces and stuff like that. A naturally aspirated motor is a force to be reckoned with, man.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think I'll be honest. Straightforward to the point. The biggest part is funds. A big blower motor. That
Yeah,
stuff's expensive. It's not only expensive to acquire and attain, but it's also expensive to maintain and go out and do a single run with. I like the naturally aspirated stuff because it keeps it simple. It's cheaper to do a run, and our overall maintenance is down. And if something does fail or go down, even at an event, there's a higher chance that we'll be able to get back in the game a little quicker,
right.
find what we need type of thing. But there are still several of us in the burnout world that take it real serious and try to go out and compete with the big power guys. And I feel like we do a pretty good job at that. Luckily for me personally, I've got a really good relationship with Brian Tooley Racing. I don't know how many of your viewers are familiar with them, but they are the leading aftermarket performance parts for LS, the number one brand for aftermarket performance parts.
Uh huh.
And they sponsor the truck. They've helped me out tremendously, and they just released, I think maybe 2 or 3 months ago, they just released their new canted valve cylinder heads, and they're picking up crazy power. It's almost like putting a supercharger on a stock 6.2.
Wow.
So we're this new combo we're getting ready to put in and hopefully test and have good luck with at LS Fest is it should make some really good power and really kind of bump us up a notch and kind of take it to the next level for our program essentially. So we're super excited about that, and I definitely want to give BTR a big shout out on that for helping us out with the heads and the camshaft and making sure that we have what we need to get this thing together in just a couple weeks and make it down to Bowling Green to party.
Well, there you go, man. There you go. So before we get into the history behind Panda and stuff, what what makes it? How do they judge you? I guess is what I'm saying. How do you win these contests? I mean, is it by smoke? Is it by duration out there? What are the judges looking for?
Yeah, I think that's a great question for somebody that doesn't really understand what we're talking about. So, usually you've got a pad that's, anywhere from 60 by 60 to, sometimes they're 60 by 150.
Uh huh.
And then you have what you call a tip-in lane. So you actually start in that tip-in lane and get the burnout going. And the whole point is to build as much speed as possible. And then essentially you swing it in. So like, most of the time our main goal is to try to get like a 360 or some kind of trick essentially when you come into the pad, and then you want to work the whole pad, so you want to hit every corner of the pad. You're allowed to, like, you can drag the wall or tap the wall, but you're not allowed to, if you hit one of the concrete barriers and it moves the barrier or changes the formation of the pad,
Uh huh.
then that's a points deduction or a DQ depending on the competition.
Uh huh.
There is a time structure as well. Most of them are a minimum of a minute and a maximum of 2 minutes. So you've got to go at least a minute, or you want your tires to last at least a minute, and then you want to try to pop your tires within that 2 minute mark. A lot of the bigger comps that we do, they'll do like a 5 point deduction for each tire not pop.
Wow.
So that kind of it kind of plays a factor, because then you got your surface, how many cars went before you, what's the surface really like once you get out there, what tire are you using, how long is that tire going to last with the power you put out with the surface conditions. It's like just about like any other motorsport. There's kind of there's a rule book and a science to it essentially. But then you also have things, so like your main point system is going to be like instant smoke, so like how fast you put out thick smoke, continuous smoke, um, and like a lot of them too, if you put it in reverse, then you'll get DQ'd
Uh huh.
out of the run, so you can't back up during the run. I think that covers pretty much all the essential rules. Each comp's a little bit different, but they try to pretty much run on the same rules, which is pretty cool. So
Right.
uh, it's a good time though, man. It's a
Oh, I
blast.
bet you it is, man. I mean, anytime you can have controlled chaos and have fun doing it, man, that's totally the awesome way. So, but how do you keep your bearings? I mean, I know you say you're doing the burnout and you get some speed, then you throw it into a 360 and all that, but once that smoke, and for anybody that's ever done a burnout, that the tire smoke stays around a little bit longer, and it's very hard to see. So, and that's just on a normal hot rod, let alone one of these burnout trucks. How do you figure out, okay, I'm getting really close to this barrier, or what's the science behind that?
Um, Sometimes it's a lot of the times we'll we'll look for like wind. We'll see what way the wind's going,
Right.
and that'll kind of tell us, like, for one, that'll tell us where we need to place a camera person to get good angles. You want the camera person to be ahead of the wind. That way
Sure.
it's not just blowing the smoke directly on them. And then for me, like, I'll watch the wind, and then I try to, I guess the best way to describe it would be, I try to stay ahead of the wind. So it's not possible to do all the time, but once you get out there and you whip around the pad a couple times, and you kind of realize, like, okay, I know I've got a pretty good judgment of how big the pad really is. Um, you know, the end goal is to get as close to the wall, as close to the crowd, essentially as possible, without hitting, without making contact.
Right.
And if you can stay ahead of the smoke, and of course, I feel like it's gotten easier every event that we've gone out and done. It's kind of gotten a little easier for me. I've gotten a little more comfortable. But there has been times where it's like you get lost in the smoke, or you get up. I've been facing a wall. I've had this happen to me quite a few times. I've been facing a wall, and I start getting close to that wall, and you're put in a predicament of either like you just stay there and stand on it, or you got to put it in reverse and back up and reinitiate the burnout. So even though we don't really go to essentially with the mindset of like, oh, we're going to go win this event. Like, I've never pulled into the event and said, oh, I'm winning this event.
Right.
I go to have fun and just do burnouts, man. That's why I'm there, and intrigue the next person, inspire the next person to get into it.
Cool.
But with that being said, I'm also not the type of guy to put my truck in reverse if I don't absolutely have to. So,
Because that's a DQ, correct?
yeah, yes, sir, yes, sir. But it's not even so much that. It's just more. I don't know. I think it's a kind of like a pride thing.
Sure.
You know.
Well, it's
So
the same.
sometimes that's when I usually just stand on it, try to throw it in high gear, and hope it holds high gear and blows the tires off.
Yeah, that's the same in the monster truck business. Everybody wants to see a fluid motion. They don't want to see a monster truck stop and back up and do all. And that's how you distinguish a rookie from a true professional. That's a veteran in the business. That they keep that flow going, especially in freestyle and stuff like that. So it's I can see that. Now, do they allow you spotters that are maybe like, say you bring 4 people with you and you put one on each side of the wall, and you guys are in radio communication, and they're saying, okay, Tyler, you're getting close to this wall, man. This is Jim. I got the east side. You're getting close, man. You need to do something to avoid this wall. Do they allow that?
Honestly, I'm not sure. I've never even personally, I've never even thought about that. I don't know if that's something that's done or talked about or been talked about and ruled out. I have no knowledge of that whatsoever, boss.
Seems like it
It's
makes
kind of,
sense to have that.
well, it's kind of one of those things too. It's like the rush and the gamble of like, man, are we going to hit the wall? And like I've been very fortunate. I've only caught a wall one time, and it was due to a mechanical malfunction. I lost power steering.
Uh huh.
And when I lost power steering, I just couldn't get the truck turned enough. And then when I let off the brake and it come around, it just barely caught the wall. But it's kind of, that we live in an era now, and this goes not just for motorsports, but for anything, like social media, anything really, TV, where people want to see the worst.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Carnage.
So when somebody smokes the wall or a truck catches on fire, that's when the crowd goes nuts.
Right. Right.
And most of the time, most of the fires are planned or coordinated, I guess you could say. They're controlled. So like you've got what you call tire fire, which essentially you'll aim your exhaust pipes at your back tires, and all the raw fuel that it's dumping while you're on the limiter. Once the tires get down to belts, the belts start sparking on the concrete or asphalt. It ignites the fuel, and it'll light, an entire truck bed on fire.
Wow.
But you can pedal it and make it stop. You can, shift up and get the RPMs down off the limiter and make it stop, and it'll go out. So it's kind of one of those things. Like, we've got guys that set their vehicles up specifically to do that. And when we go to the big events, these guys, there's a fire squad there. There's guys on every wall with big water extinguishers, and if something does go wrong, they pretty much, they know when it's not planned or not okay.
Right. Right.
So that's a big deal. Having the good staff behind a good event, it makes a great event.
Right. Exactly. Now, is Emma with you tonight?
She's actually in the other room watching live. She had to do some stuff around the house.
Oh, okay. Well, I understand. You know, I'd like to I'd like to talk about the reasoning why Panda became Panda, and you tell the story about that, and let the folks hear. Just start off when Emma and Miranda met at 2 years old,
Yes, sir. So
or second grade. I
my
mean,
wife, yes, sir. My wife moved from Kansas to Arkansas when she was about 8 years old, and started school at the school that her and I met at in the ninth grade. But when she was in second grade, one of her first friends down there was Miranda, and they grew up together. And oh, if I remember correctly, I might be wrong on this part, but if I remember correctly, in the fifth grade, Miranda lost her dad to cancer,
uh-huh.
and um, it was a tough time for their family, and they moved past that, and they grew up together. They played softball together. They were on the basketball team together. They spent a lot of time together. They were neighbors for a while, and then I moved down there right at, I guess, at the beginning of ninth grade, and met Miranda myself and became friends with her. And we moved to Northeast Arkansas. That was in Central Arkansas. We moved to Northeast Arkansas in 2012, and a few years after that, Miranda got sick, and cancer. She started fighting cancer herself,
Uh-huh.
and it took her quick, man. It wasn't long, um, and she left behind two beautiful little children, an amazing little brother, the sweetest mother you could probably ever ask for, a ton of cousins and other family that all grew up around the same age, grew up together in the same little town. So it was really tragic for a lot of people, and our whole thing with 727 Motorsports, the name of the brand is also built on a memory of a lost loved one. So that's kind of our whole thing, is taking the bad in life and trying to make the best of it, in the sense of, instead of being forced to grieve or dwell on something every day, you can spread love and positivity by telling a story, or spreading a message, or telling a loved one story. So that was big for us. And the truck idea kind of just, the name was kind of like the last piece of the puzzle. We started putting the truck together, and we really wanted to do it as a tribute truck and build it in memory of Miranda. So we kind of had a couple things, and of course we got with her mom, and asked her mom, hey, make sure she's okay with it. And for us, it's kind of like Miranda's legacy gets to live on, through this truck, through her kids, and through her family. So it's just a way that we can show a token of our appreciation of the time that we got to spend with her. But yeah, it started out just a cruiser truck, take it to car shows, tell the story type of thing. And then we did a little bit of drag racing in it, and I broke it a couple times, fixed it, upgraded it, took it back. Of course, but it's, man, you're running a cinder block down the drag strip.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
And
Yeah.
in today's world, in drag racing, to really be competitive, you've got to have a lot of money, and really be able to get out there, So we kind of entered a couple local burnout competitions, and had a lot of fun doing it. And that's really kind of what drove us to the burnout stuff, was just how much fun it was. It wasn't, I've never went to the drag strip and drag raced, or even went and tested my truck and not just stressed the whole time I was there. Like, is the
Sure.
truck going to work? Am I going to throw the pass away at the light like I always do, or so on. So it's kind of just more like, dude, we're gonna go out there and spin some donuts and try to pop the tires. And if we don't, we don't. If we do, we do.
Right, right.
Um, and then another big thing too for us is we get to with the proper safety equipment, we get to have a passenger with us at most events too. So not only do you actually get to inspire or intrigue somebody's interest in it by them watching from the crowd, but I have not had a person strapped in that truck yet that has not got out of it and on the way home they're on marketplace looking for a burnout vehicle that they can build for themselves.
That's
It's
cool, man.
it's just it's so contagious, man. It's incredible.
Oh, I bet you
Um,
so.
but for us, it's just like I hated to even really take the truck out and do it, at a professional level because it's hard on them. It's really, really hard on them.
Oh, yeah.
But at the same time, it was like, we're very content driven. So when our followers are in the comments and they're like, dude, you got to do this, you got to do that, it kind of sets the pace and it'll push you a certain direction.
Right.
And that's one of those things. My wife and I, we just look at it like, well, if the majority of the followers are saying that, that's probably what Miranda would say too.
Sure.
So we just really push it to the limit, man, and try to tell her story and let her legacy live on every chance we get, and let her family know that they they had a great person, just in general, a great person
Right.
in their family.
Right, right. So she never did see the truck then.
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay. Uh, what about tire sponsors? Do you have tire sponsors that allow you? Because I mean, in a burnout competition, how many sets of tires do you go through, man?
So typically we go through one set per run.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and some events are, like LS Fest, for instance, we only have one run that weekend. So,
Oh, okay.
chances are we'll only burn one setup. But then, we've got a new event, a big, massive event that's going to be game changing for the scene, in my opinion. That's down in Texas. It's called Liberty Nats.
Uh-huh.
And it's like a bracket style deal. So there's I think one or two rounds of qualifying and testing, and then it goes into pretty much straight into an elimination, and you're battling one other person, and it's a 32 car shootout. So
Oh, wow.
you know there's anywhere from 5 to 7 skids in one weekend. But to answer your question, a tire sponsor has been the hardest sponsor for me to get,
Uh-huh.
and I understand why. We're just absolutely destroying them in 2 minutes or less.
Sure.
But tire shops, they they really want to get on board and help out. But I think the tire market these days is just there's such a low profit margin that
Right.
it's like, man, I can get online or go to Walmart and buy them cheaper than really a tire shop can hook me up with. And
Sure.
it's I'm not trying to be insulting to
No,
anybody
I
in that
know. You,
sense,
I
but
know.
it's just the truth.
Right.
And there's only so much real estate on the truck for brand names. So that's something we've kind of had to kind of look at and say, man, is it even really, worth going that route? Now we have applied for a couple brand sponsorships. I won't mention the brands, of course,
Right.
but because we haven't heard back from them.
Sure.
But that was pretty recent. We applied for a couple bigger actual brand name sponsorships for tires, but we haven't. That's been a tough one, man. We're very super grateful and thankful to have so many companies and sponsors on the truck, and that's really what keeps the truck going.
Right.
We like right now, I would not have been able to do what we're doing to the truck 100% out of pocket. It wouldn't have been feasible for me. I probably would have had to sit out a little bit.
Uh-huh.
But our companies really believe in us, and they really they like our partnerships with the content stuff. So we're very blessed, and before this is over, I'll give all of them a big shout out. I got a long list of them, and I'm thankful for every single one of them. So
And we want you to be able to do that, man. So we'll give you your time to take care of that, and stuff. Uh, how important is it to you to have Emma's backing and to be there with you at these competitions and also to ride with you? Because I imagine she rides with you quite a bit, doesn't she?
Yes, sir. She gets in that seat every chance she gets it. You know, she has zero problem with stepping aside and saying, "Hey, let so and so ride." You know, so and so hasn't got to ride. You know, this would be a great opportunity for them. But if that seat's open and we're allowed to have a passenger, you can bet your bottom dollar she's strapping in. As far as how important it is to have her support, it's very, very, very important. She's pushed me to try things and enter certain competitions, or talk to certain brands, and really like, hey, you need to try this. This could be really big. And we have a lot of, there's times I think she's believed in it more than I have, if I'm being honest.
Uh huh.
But yeah, down from riding to helping me change tires or oil or the motor, or she helped me pull the motor and transmission out of it the other day.
Uh huh.
um, it doesn't matter. She's there, and she's like, yeah, let's go. So I've got friends, and I've had friends in the past that do not have the support like that out of their spouse and their hobby or their lifestyle or whatever they want to go do. So I'm very blessed to have a wife that not only wants to go out and support me doing it, but we're building her a truck to go do it too. So
Right.
that's awesome, man. I'm super thankful for that.
Well, good. In the monster truck business, it's a fierce competitor when the guys strap the helmets on and they get out there and they're racing each other or going up against freestyle and stuff like that. Is there a camaraderie? What I guess what I'm saying is during racing, they're fierce competitors, but if one of them breaks down, they're all over there trying to fix that truck to get it back into the competition for the weekend. So that driver can earn a paycheck and that driver can compete. Is the burnout competition? Is the drivers' camaraderie there like that? Is it one big family? Fierce
Oh,
fierce behind the wheel and then helping anybody that needs help.
yeah, yes, sir. And I think it's honestly, it's probably there. I've never been into the monster truck world, or you know, like we were talking about NASCAR earlier, but I've been to quite a bit of drag racing stuff, and that's there a little bit. There's certain guys that would take parts off their own race car to see you race. You know,
Uh huh.
but in the burnout, in those burnout pits, man, I'm telling you right now, if you roll through there yelling, I need a set of plug wires, or I need an electric power steering pump or an alternator or something, somebody's gonna be like, take it off mine. You know what I mean? Like it's it's almost guaranteed. Like we've watched people stand there and blow a motor up, and somebody else hurt their blower, and then be like, man, we could collectively, we've got a hot rod. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, let's make it happen. I've watched people take the power steering pump off their vehicle, put it on another one, so somebody else could go do a skid, and then they let that person just order another power steering pump and replace it. So yeah, it's actually really incredible how much support. And there's a lot of sports where you know guys guys and families spend years and years developing a routine or a way of building or a way of doing, or just whatever their strategy may be, and they don't want to tell anybody any of those secrets. And this sport is the complete opposite. Like, it's so small right now. We just want more people to come do it,
Sure.
but we want them to come do it right. You know what I mean?
Right.
So what we say by that, or what I mean by that is, like, obviously we're not promoting you to bring your stock Silverado out that has an open diff in it. Like, you need to do the proper upgrades to get both wheels spinning. There's certain rules: no aluminum wheels, no wheel weights. Um, there's a few things that are pretty mandatory. You got to have right safety gear. Stuff like that's important. But we want the sport to grow. So any knowledge we can tell anybody about anything about the sport, and I haven't met a single driver yet that gatekeeps information on, something you can do in as far as driving, or something you can do to help set your vehicle up a little better. And I think that's awesome. You know, um, that's what's really going to make the sport truly grow and have a healthy, camaraderie like you were talking about.
Right.
And hopefully it stays that way. That's the big thing. Is I kind of feel like it's like with anything. Once something becomes oversaturated, that's when people start. It's more competitive because there's so many people, and they really want to try to gatekeep, and it's just, luckily we're in the birth of the sport here in the U.S., and it's, I say the birth of it like it just happened. It's been active for 8 or 10 years now, but
Right.
it's really just now. Last year there was, I'm not sure exactly how many, but I would say probably around 40 drivers or so, 40 competition vehicles, and now it's probably doubled. You know what I mean? In the last year, and we're one of those
Uh-huh.
new additions to the scene. So um, I don't know. We just went from a spot where it was like you go to the drag strip, and it's almost like when you go out there, there's kind of a tension in the air. No matter where you look or go, you got friends there and stuff, but there's really that tension doesn't stay on the drag strip. It lingers in the pits too, and it's just not like that in the burnout world.
Right. Right. Well, Elizabeth's in here, Miranda's mom, and she just come out and said, and first of all, we're very sorry for your loss. Our prayers go out to you and your family for your loss. It sounds like Miranda was a wonderful person and a very beautiful soul. Uh, Miranda's mom said, Miranda's mom here here she said she would have loved to been physically in that truck with Emma. She grew up at a racetrack, watching her dad race go karts, her cousins racing mini sprints. She also enjoyed NASCAR. Tony Stewart was her man, and everyone involved for. She wanted to thank everyone involved for keeping her memory alive, especially Emma and Tyler. So that's very cool, man. That's very cool. And welcome to the show, ma'am. I'm glad
Thanks for
that you're in
tuning in,
here.
Mama Liz.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome, man. Now when you build, say, I want to build a burnout truck. I mean, it's just trucks. Is that correct, or did they have an automobile, or you can do cars too?
Oh yeah, no, it's pretty much anything goes, man. Like,
Okay.
uh, yeah, there's some crazy stuff out there. There's a oh man, he's gonna get me for not knowing the year on that. It's like a late 50s, early 60s Metro Mike. That's an ice cream truck. They call it Frosty the ice cream burnout truck. Um, Dude, it's one of the baddest things in the country. But it's actually absolutely a showstopper. There's rat rods, there's trucks, there's cars, there's Corvettes with all the panels taken off. We've had There's a couple guys that have rock bouncer Jeeps that come out and do 4-wheel drive burnouts
That was a
on little
question I was going
tires.
to ask.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. There's a guy named Speedy Cop. Shout out to Speedy Cop. He built some insane off the wall stuff, man. He's got a boat that's on. I think it's a Camaro or a Mustang frame and chassis and drive line, and then it's got a fiberglass boat fitted on top
No
of it. He
way.
goes out there and does. Oh, it's incredible. He's
Wow.
got an airplane that's got the wings off of it, and it's on like a Toyota minivan chassis, I think. And yeah, it's awesome, man. It's all polished out, mirrored out.
Wow.
Yeah, they've got there's some wild stuff, man. It's pretty awesome.
Now, as far as getting back to me, say I want to build a truck. Do I have to have a special frame, special roll cage in there for this event?
No, so really the biggest things with the vehicles are sealed firewall, so no holes in the firewall.
Uh huh.
That way, fire less likely to get inside the cab.
Right.
They really promote harnesses, but in a harness bar of some sort.
Uh huh.
But they'll let you run with just regular seat belts. But they really like to see like a fire suit. Helmet's mandatory, no questions asked. But they
Right.
really like to see a fire suit at most of them. And then, there's a few little things that they really look for, like a coolant overflow. You got to have some kind of coolant overflow. Um, so like I said, the steel wheels with no wheel weights, that's like kind of like a mandatory
I can see
thing.
why.
They won't. Yeah, you don't want no weights coming off and hitting
No,
anybody
not
in
at
the
all.
crowd, or aluminum wheel coming apart. Open diffs, no open diffs, that's a big deal. But for the most part, like you can start relatively pretty stock. If you got something that'll just annihilate the tires, like some of the S10 trucks with the V6s and stuff like that. Like
Right.
you could start, you can start pretty well stock, and weld the diff up and take it out there, and do some events, and kind of stack onto it and build it as you go. Like we've got a buddy. He's got I think it's like a 2001 Dodge Dakota, and it's a super clean truck, like a really nice truck, and he's had it for a really long time. But I talked him into coming and doing some burnouts with us, and it's got like a posi and some gears and like a little stall converter, and that's really all it's got. Like,
Uh-huh.
but dude, he drives the wheels off that thing. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
and that's another thing too, is like if you're capable of driving and you know your vehicle, then you don't have to have a, crap ton of power to go out there and have a good time or put on a show. Of course, it helps, and if you want to win, that's probably what you need. But
Right.
um, if you just want to get in it and go and have fun and not spend a bunch of money, you know, you could get into it pretty relatively cheap and not have to do a bunch of work.
Uh-huh. Well, I'll tell you what, man. I just seeing some of the pictures that you sent me when we were doing the song and stuff. It's amazing. Do you get used to the smoke?
Yeah, yeah. So the first couple we went to and we were just spectators. I think it affects the crowd more than it really does the driver, because we're pretty much steadily moving.
Right. Exactly.
But I remember like leaving the first couple, and it was almost like man, like it's almost just overbearing,
Sure.
But now it's like we'll come home and unload the truck, and I'll go out there a week or so later and just kind of walk around the truck or whatever, and I'll get a whiff of it, and I'm like, oh man, I'm so ready to get back out there. Like, now it's kind
Yeah,
of like
it's an addiction.
yeah, and it's like, I'm so ready to smell burnt rubber and feel.
Yeah, in the monster truck business, when the season's over with, uh, I literally started, just feeling really blah and really run down and stuff. And boy, those first couple shows, you start getting that methanol back in your blood system and
Oh
breathing
yeah.
it. I mean, it turns you back into the guy that you need to be. So it's very important. In the in the monster truck world, we have the MTRA, the Monster Truck Racing Association, and they the ones that set the guidelines and different things like that for safety and all the stuff like that. Do you guys have anything, an association like that in the burnouts?
Um, not really like an association.
Uh huh.
We haven't had anything, really pick us up like that yet, I wouldn't say.
Uh huh.
But I think really what it boils down to is we've got, so there's, and I want to give all these groups a shout out real quick. There's only a
That's
few
fine.
of them, but I want to make sure they get their flowers.
Yes.
So like Burnout Wars, they are, they're one of the guys who, one of the groups that travel the country and set up legitimate competitions, and they aim, the safety measures are put in place, and they make sure that if you don't have what's required, you ain't coming out there. And if something does happen, they're out there to address it instantly.
Right.
So Burnout Wars does a fantastic job at that. Burnout Nationals, they're up in the Northeast. Tommy, and he's got a whole big group of drivers with some awesome hot rods. Shout out to all the Burnout National guys. Same thing. They host some huge events up there, and really promote the safety aspect of it. And that to us, that's one of the biggest things, is the safety. And I think that's kind of my point here is, between Burnout Wars, Burnout Nationals, Big Indian Drift Pit, and Gucci Burr, and then you've got the Cletus McFarland and the Freedom Factory down in Florida. Between all those guys and really taking this to really big facilities, because that's to me that's one of the coolest things about the Burnout stuff is most of these events are held within the infield of a NASCAR track. So, they've been at Bristol. They've been at. We did one in back in April at Nashville Super Speedway. We did one in Texas Motor Speedway in May. So that alone, I guess, to kind of answer your question, like they're not really in like controlling the actual burnout stuff, but to host a competition within that facility, you have to mind whatever rules or regulations that facility may put into place,
Right.
which is more than likely ran by one of those associations. So I think it kind of trickles down through in that way, but for the most part, to answer the question, I think it boils back down to the head and these groups, the head of these groups and these few groups that actually host the competitions, and then all of us drivers that come in. And the last thing we want, man, is like I said, the whole thing here is it's still a new sport, and we're trying to grow the sport. And from the outside looking in, this looks like one of the most dangerous sports in motorsports. But once you're standing there and you're really a part of it and you see what's going on and how things are handled, it's probably one of the safest. We took all the speed out of it, man.
Right. Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like compared to NASCAR or monster truck or some of the like rally racing or even drifting. Like it's not very often somebody gets hurt drifting, but it has happened. And the last thing we want as drivers and competitors of a growing sport is to go out and something happen and that make the sport look bad or put somebody at a facility put a higher regulation on this sport because this happened. So when all your drivers are thinking like that to show up for this event, it really helps the event go smooth and organized, and nonsense and foul play is kind of really taken out of it in that sense.
Right. Right.
Things are taken it's taken pretty serious just by the competitors alone.
Yeah. Now, uh, what is one of the worst mishaps that you've seen? Do these trucks get put on their sides, on their lids every once in a while? Maybe because of the way the truck was running and the tire popped or something. Will they roll? Can you get that? Does that happen?
I've never seen one actually roll. I've
Uh-huh.
seen a couple videos on YouTube from years ago. A couple four-wheel drive trucks on big 40-inch tires were out there with open diffs, and it was like he swung it one way, and then when he swung it the other way, that open diff didn't lock, and it didn't have nowhere to go.
Right.
But I think that kind of boils back to really the vehicle. There's certain things like the rock bouncer Jeeps. Those guys don't come out there on the tires that they're going to go bounce through the trails on.
Right.
They put on some small street tires, which really lowers the center of gravity of the vehicle. But honestly, I think probably some of the biggest mishaps that I've personally seen or heard of, there was actually one a few weeks ago. And this is kind of what we were talking about. This is what we don't want, necessarily don't want getting a lot of exposure in the sport. Like things happen,
Sure.
but when people are promoting it as if it's a good thing, that's what you don't want. But there was a car that drove up on the wall pretty heavy, like front wheels off the ground, one wheel on the other side of the wall, and this guy's just driving down the wall, you know. But I kind of feel like that was just more of like a negligent, careless kind of deal. Like, he stayed in it. Was my point. Was like
Sure.
he didn't like try to stop and back off the wall. He just kept going, and then of course, a video surfaces of it on the internet, and everybody thinks it's funny and this and that. And it's like a lot of us are sitting back going, "Man, we don't need that. Like, that's not what we want our sport to look like. This
Right.
isn't streetcar takeover stuff. Like, we take it serious in the aspect of safety and want it to be, overall we want it to be looked at and taken serious by everybody. So that kind of stuff. But I haven't heard of anybody getting severely hurt or, a vehicle flipping. There may have been a vehicle flip on a pad, and I've never heard of it, but I've personally never heard of that. And it's, we've seen a couple guys hit the wall pretty hard. But you're talking like 4,000-pound barriers. Like it moves the barriers, but the barriers stop the car. You know what I mean?
Sure. Oh, yes, guaranteed.
I do think it's kind of crazy though. You'll get some of those bigger crowds when the tires pop and the tire goes flying into the crowd. The people in the crowd will try to catch it, and it's kind of, I'm like, you realize how hot that is?
Yeah. No
You
joke.
know,
No joke. Now, every once in a while, you got to scrape them fender wells because you get a little buildup of rubber on there, don't you?
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Enough to go on like, well, maybe I could just make my own tires again, So,
We actually weighed it last time. I think it was almost 7 pounds,
wow.
6 pounds and some change or something like that.
That's crazy, man. That is crazy. Hey, Tyler, let's take a break for a second, and that'll give you a chance to get yourself something to drink or stretch your legs for a second. I want to play your song, and then we'll come back, and I've got a few more questions, and then we'll let you get on with your night. How's that sound?
Sounds good, bro.
All right, man. Guys, we'll be back here in just a minute on Pedal of the Metal, Motors and Music. This song here is called Panda Still Rides Along. We'll be right back here after this song.
Down in Paragould, Arkansas, Tyler grew up chasing speed. Hot wheels turned to horsepower, and gasoline got in his dreams. His daddy helped to light that fire. Hot rods became a way of life. And standing there beside him now is Emma, his loving wife. Emma met Miranda in 2nd grade. 2 little girls without a care. From schoolyard days to playing sports, you hardly saw one without the other there. They laughed and grew up side by side through every season, every year. And that friendship lasted all their lives, through every smile and every tear. And cancer came into Miranda's life, and she fought it brave and strong. But even when this world said goodbye, that friendship carried on. They called her Panda. Hear that engine roar. Blue, white, and black rolling through the smoke once more. Every burnout, every mile carries Miranda's memory with pride. She's more than a Chevy, more than steel rolling on. For Tyler and Emma, every time she fires, Panda still rides along. That 1985 Chevy C10 started with a simple trade. 6 weeks and an LS underneath her, and a whole new truck was made. What started out to be a cruiser became a truck both tough and strong. And they gave her Miranda's nickname, so a piece of her could ride along. The Panda put Tyler on the map as a builder and a man behind the wheel. She took the punishment he gave her and showed the world the truck was real. From local wins to burnout wars to summer gnats USA, through clouds of smoke and screaming tires, Miranda's memory leads the way. They call her Panda. Hear that engine roar. Blue, white, and black rolling through the smoke once more. Those colors
still rides along. Emma still remembers second grade, two little girls in simpler times, playing sports and growing up, making memories for a lifetime. From childhood into grown-up years, they stayed together to the end. And when Emma hears that Chevy roar, she remembers her lifelong friend. Miranda left her love with her children, Aubrey and Brentley, precious and true. Her mama Liz still holds those memories, and her brother Draven carries them through. A mother, daughter, sister, and friend, so many hearts still speak her name. Cancer may have ended her journey, but it never could extinguish her flame. Miranda McSpadden Reed was only 26 years old, born in Little Rock in January, with a heart worth more than gold. She loved her family, loved her softball, and when a friend needed her, she'd be there. The kind of woman you could always call, the kind of friend who truly cared. In October of 2019, with family and friends gathered near, Miranda left this world behind her, but her memory never disappeared. She's in Aubrey and she's in Bradley, she's in Liz and Draven too. She's in every memory Emma carries of the childhood that they knew. They call her Panda. Now everybody knows the reason why. There's a woman's name behind that truck and a friendship that will never die. From two little girls in second grade to all the years that carried on, Tyler and Emma keep her memory rolling proud and rolling strong. So when that old Chevy C10 fires and those tires start singing their song, it ain't only smoke and horsepower. Miranda's still riding along. For Miranda McSpadden Reed, a mother to Aubrey and Brantley, a daughter to Liz, a sister to Draven, and Emma's friend from second grade. Until the very end, her name was Miranda, her nickname was Panda. And every time that Chevy fires, Panda still rides along.
There you go. Panda still rides along. Just a story about Panda and everything that goes on in the life of Tyler and Emma. You know, Tyler, when you're not behind the wheel of Panda, who are you?
I am just a custom car builder from Arkansas that likes to make some little Facebook videos.
Cool, man. That's pretty cool, man. I mean, you know, just kind of a chill kind of guy, then, huh?
I try to be.
What?
I'm always going, man. I'm go go go. I don't sit down enough and just relax, you know.
Right, right.
But you know, I got my kids and my wife, and I spend as much time with them as possible. And luckily, they tag along with me on everything I do. So
Sure.
I'm very fortunate for that.
What do you and Emma enjoy doing if you're not traveling or working on trucks or going to automotive events or stuff like that? What do you have a hobby?
Not no, not really. That's pretty much all we do is, you know,
That's your
we're
hobby.
not. Yeah, we call it more of a, you know, we call it a lifestyle, but we've started, you know, we have our things that we do that aren't really hot rod related. You know, like we occasionally we watch some movies, or we've got a couple spots, like we got a waterfall a couple hours away that we like to go to every now and then. And then we started some new stuff. Like we started making our own merch here at the. We got a little room set up at the house, and we started making our own merch and taking that to shows and selling it.
Oh, right.
So that's kind of, it's still work, but it's kind of something that's not really wrenching on cars or dealing
Sure.
with cars. You kind of, and then really, I think the content thing for us, that was kind of our hobby, really. But it's turned into another staple of the job. So we just try to keep it rolling as much as we can.
Cool, man. Cool. Who gets more nervous before the burnout contest, you or Emma?
Um, Probably me.
Do you?
It's Yeah, which is weird because I don't get nervous until like we're pulling up to stage, and then I'm nervous until I stage, and then once I stage, I'm ready. Like I'm ready.
Game on.
Yeah, so it's a blessing, but it's kind of a curse at the same time because there's about anywhere from a 15-minute to a 45-minute period where you're just standing there and it's like butterflies in the stomach. You're like, man, it's always like, I hope the truck works. I hope it does what it's supposed to do.
I hope I tightened that one bolt. I hope everything's there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Miss Elizabeth come on there and said the song was awesome. Thank you, Miss Elizabeth. I appreciate that very much.
Yeah, thank
I
you for doing that for them, brother.
Oh, no problem, man. And the thing, what everybody doesn't understand is when Tyler and I was working on this, he was telling me, he goes, you don't even have to mention my name. You don't even have to mention Emma's name. This is not about us, but it really is. It's the you're the main key of the whole thing. You put it all together, and you're the glue, and it is about you, man. But that just shows what kind of a person you are. You're not looking for the fame and all that stuff. You were just like, pay tribute to the truck and Miranda and stuff like that. But it wouldn't work without you, man.
Oh, well, I appreciate that, man. I think for Emma and I, our biggest thing is, we want when this whole idea was proposed to us, at first it was like, yeah, make a song about the truck. Like the concept that you do for that for the people that you do it for is really cool. But I was like, man, I want to see this be something for her family,
Right.
something that she would have liked, type of thing.
Uh huh.
So that's like me and you were talking about is like, personally, we're not big country music listeners, but we respect country music, and we have our certain little bit of country that we listen to, but that's just not our normal thing. But that was definitely Miranda's thing, and that's definitely her family's thing. So we did really we wanted to do that for them, and or have you do that for them, I guess you could say. But man, super thankful for that. I think it come out awesome.
Well, thank
It
you.
really tells the story. It's got a good catchy chorus, So I hope that Liz and the kids and Draven like it, and the rest of the family likes it as well.
Right. Well, I emailed you a copy of it, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So you should be able to share that with anybody that you want. I don't have a problem with you sharing it with anybody. Like I told you, I hold all the rights to the songs and stuff like that I make. But when I make a song for somebody, it's your song. So you do whatever you want. And if Miss Elizabeth wants some copies, send it to her. Let her make some copies. Give it to her family or whatever. Man, I don't have a problem with that in any way, shape, or form. So it's all good with
Well,
me.
thank you.
Yeah, no,
Thank you.
not a
We
problem.
appreciate that.
Uh, let's see here. What have you accomplished with Panda, or what haven't you accomplished with Panda yet that's still on your bucket list?
Oh, so I got a few things. Of course, I've got a few random racetracks that I want to go compete at burnout competitions at within those facilities, Um, and then I've got a couple other things I want to take the truck and set it up and go do with it, which has kind of been a struggle lately with all these new upgrades, because it's kind of, how it is. Like you having the monster truck background, like you can't just take a monster truck and go drifting with it, you know.
Right, right.
So there's a few things, but drifting's one of them. I really want to take the truck and go drifting with it. I'm not, you know, I don't necessarily mean like go compete or, you know, go try to podium at any events or anything like that. But I'd like to just go out and like be able to take the truck around a closed course and drift around it like a drifter would, you know.
Uh-huh.
Autocross, I'd really like to do a little bit of autocross in the truck. Um, but really, for the most part, I think we've spent about the last year really doing what I enjoy doing with the truck the most.
Uh-huh.
The burnout, not just the burnout stuff, but taking it to shows and you know letting people hear about the story and really just walk around and check out the truck. That's a big deal. So to me personally, that's a big deal. So
Right.
I really like doing that.
Do you think that places like SEMA and stuff like that, where they have those kind of competitions that you were talking about earlier, just a little bit ago, would be something that they would in get a burnout competition where you could go to SEMA and stuff like that?
Yes, sir. So there is one at SEMA,
Oh, awesome.
and it's hosted by one of our favorite hosts that host competitions, Burnout Wars. So we were actually aiming to go to that this year because it's ironically they're doing burnouts on my birthday,
Oh, that'd
November
be
3rd.
cool.
So yeah, I was like, man, that'd be awesome. You know, go to Vegas and whatnot. But then we got invited to that 32 car deal down in Texas, Liberty Nats.
Uh huh.
And you know that's only I think 2 weeks before, and you know that's a pretty good haul for us. And then Vegas is even farther.
Yeah, it is.
So you know, logistically and financially, I don't think we'll be able to make it to SEMA this year. But that is one of the things on the bucket list with the truck to go do. And then Summer Nats is coming back. The Australian event I was telling you about, they're coming back next month, and they're taking it to Lucas Oil Raceway there in Indy.
Uh huh.
So that's that particular track, you know, to go do burnouts inside that racetrack is kind of just like I want to do that so bad. So I'm really excited about that one. That one's a big deal for me.
Right. So, what's where did the name 727 Motorsports come from? Why 727?
So on July 27th, 2018, we lost my wife's little brother at 15 years old. It's a very tragic story.
I'm sorry for that,
Um,
man.
Thank you, I appreciate it. But after we lost Jacob was his name. After we lost Jacob, we kept seeing that 727. You know, we'd just be driving down the road and look at the clock, and it would be 727, or um, you know, think about like a 727 torque flat transmission, or you know, it kind of just kept popping up. And then the one year day of that happening, uh, you know, it was kind of like Emma. That day started coming up. I hate to call it an anniversary because it's not an anniversary, but that you know that significant date started to approach us, and you know she was like, "Hey, I think I'm gonna take off work, and I don't really want to do anything that day." And I was like, "Okay, that's fine," you know. And then by about 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, she done sat in the house all day, and she was like, "I gotta get out of this house. We gotta go do something." And I had just so happened to been talking to a guy on Facebook about a little truck, and I was like, "Well, we can hook the trailer up and go get this truck." And she was like, "Let's go." And you know, that was kind of that day was really the birth of 727 Motorsports. You know, when we were coming home with that truck, we really just talked about it and was like, "Hey, like, you know, that number keeps coming up. Why don't we use that to name our channel or our garage or whatever you want to call it?" And um, you know, in the end, it's this conversation right here that we're having right now. That's the whole meaning behind it, and the whole point behind it is to be able to tell tell that story and that, let the legacy of Jacob live on, um, by being able to tell his story.
Well, that's awesome, man. So how can my podcast help you uh, get the word out about the burnout contests and stuff like that? Can I get more drivers on the show that would be willing to talk to us and share their experiences? What can pedal to the metal motors and music help you do to get your sport out there?
And I think that would be great. Any exposure or uh, even quick talk about the sport, and with other drivers like you're saying, I think that's awesome. And I'm sure there's several drivers that would love to come on the show and chat with you and tell their story and their vehicle story and how they got into the sport. And there's several of these guys that, excuse me, there's several of these guys that have been in this since day one, almost a decade ago. So, they've probably got way better stories and experiences with the burnout world than I do.
Right.
I've only been, in the national aspect of it, I've only been out there for about a year now. So, um, I would love to try to link you up with some more guys though, and put some feelers out to see if we can't get some other guys to come on the show and talk with you. And same thing, if there's anything that we can do to help, help the podcast and help keep it fluid and keep it moving. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. It's about us all sticking together and networking
Sure.
and putting each other on and sharing each other. And that's how we're all going to grow together.
Right. Well, I all I ask is that anybody that's listening tonight that hasn't followed and liked the show that they follow and like us, because that's how you help me. But once again, I'm kind of like you. It's not about me trying to get it. I want to try to help get this sport out there because that's what this show is about. Is so what I think I need to do is make you my liaison of the burnout world, and you talk to these guys and you say, okay, I've got Jeff, okay, or George or whatever, and he wants to be. You call me up and you say, Roller, what's your next available date? I have a guy that wants to be on the show, and I'll look at my calendar and I'll say, okay, Tyler, we can put him in on the 26th of this month, and there's an open date and it's his or hers, whatever. It doesn't matter. All I ask is that it's a good quality. I mean, see, your interview has been a very, very good interview because you you elaborate on the question. You don't answer the question. You elaborate on it, and that makes a good interview. And that's the kind of interviews that I want. I don't want a one word answer person. I want somebody that's got a passion and a fire in their butt that wants to talk about the sport that they enjoy doing, and I'm going to give them that platform to do it on, man. And hey, I don't have as many followers as Rich does, but Rich also has 2.5 more years in the podcast business. Who knows where my numbers are going to be eventually one day. And I just think that's what it takes, man. Is just to go ahead and really make pedal to the metal what it is, a platform for people to talk about their passion uh, in the vehicles that they drive and the vehicles that they race. So, you're my liaison for the burnouts. You talk to your guys, you're in better contact with them. I don't have any way to contact them. And you say, okay, now I can get you on this show. Let me pick up the phone and call him right now. If you're serious about doing this, and we will get a date for you. And man, we'll give them the same treatment. We'll give them a song. We'll promote it really heavy on Facebook, and I mean, I'd be more than happy to help out that way. If that'll help out, then just count me in.
Yeah, man, for sure. I greatly appreciate that, and I'll go ahead and start putting some feelers out and talking to some guys and see if I can't get at least a couple lined up for you
Yeah,
to start, and then we can move on from there.
sure.
But yeah, no, I think it'd be great, and definitely help the sport grow and just help get awareness out there of, hey, we're not just a bunch of crazy guys out here destroying vehicles for no purpose and with no regulation. Like it's an organized deal, you know.
Right. Do you think you'll ever get it up in the Colorado areas, up in
I hope
this
so.
part of the
That would be
country? I
awesome.
mean, yeah, because there's some tracks and stuff around. A perfect track I could think of for you to do what you do is called Colorado National Speedway. It's a big paved track and it's paved in the center and stuff. And I believe that that would be an amazing track for you guys to do that on. And plus, I think there's people here in Colorado that would be extra excited about getting into this sport because I haven't seen it up here. I mean, and
Yeah,
you
no, for
know,
sure.
I mean, it's a motorsports country up here, and not just in Colorado, but you know, you got Wyoming, you got Montana, you know, you got a lot of different places that people could travel and do stuff. But yeah, CNS is just one track that I could think of. They're redoing an old track in my hometown. That was a big iconic track for a long time called Beacon Hill Speedway, and you know they're going to be looking for events like that and stuff. I'm connected with promoters in the monster truck business that maybe maybe we could maybe we could get together and do something like this where we have monster trucks and then we have a burnout contest at intermission or part of the show or whatever, you know. So I mean, I think the future is really bright, and I think that if we put our heads together and we got in front of the right people, that we could take your sport and turn it into something where it's you know nationwide. I think it would be really cool.
Yeah, no, for sure. That would be awesome. I
Yeah.
haven't heard of any events directly in Colorado. There may have been some stuff back before this year, but I don't recall seeing anything specifically on the schedule. Um, but it definitely, it's got a little bit of a scene out in Cali, and then of course, Vegas. The SEMA show's big in Vegas. Um, but Texas, man, Texas is huge for it. Florida's huge. There's a racetrack up in Minnesota that's got on board and hosts several events a year.
Uh huh.
The Northeast has it in lock, and it's kind of starting to pop up in our area right here in the we're at the northern, that Mason Dixie line area right there into the Midwest. So I definitely feel like it's coming that way for sure. And with the people that you know and the people that I know, I think we definitely have the components to push to get something to happen over
Right.
there for sure.
Well,
That would be awesome.
I have a promoter that I worked with my entire career, and I think that this might be something that they would be very interested in talking to somebody about. And you know, I mean, I would just I don't know anybody else in the business. I'd have to give them your number and you know, because they do monster truck shows all over the United States, not just you know certain areas. It's they're all over. So
Yeah.
it might be something that that would definitely work where we could make it a make it to help grow the sport bigger. So let's really think about that and put our heads together. And if you'd like, I can get you in touch with it. I can run it across by them, and I could see if they're interested in doing something like that. But I mean, I got promoters I know all over the United States, California, Arizona, Oregon, everywhere. So you know, it's not just limited to one promoter, but I know if they really like the idea, they would like to be the exclusive one to get that thing started. You know, so
Yeah.
let's talk more about that. Okay?
Okay, for sure.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Uh, do you see yourself doing burnouts for as long as you're physically able to climb in behind the wheel?
I think so. Yeah. 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 As long as my wife keeps supporting it, I'm able to do it. We're gonna do it.
Right, right. And you say you're building another truck. Did I hear you say that right?
Yeah, so we're actually we're building her a truck right now. We're building her a little Colorado. It's slow. It's been a process, but we are slowly working on it and hoping to have it out before the end of the season's over.
Well, it sounds like she's vested, man. It sounds like
Oh yeah,
she's definitely in and for the long haul and stuff. So that would be pretty cool. So what would does she have a name picked out? Would that name be something family related or?
No, she's got. I think she's got a few on a list that she's considering, but I don't think she's settled on a name yet. Um, that's been a tough one for her to name. She's got another truck that we built last year. That's a little street truck, a little turbo truck. She calls it Misdemeanor. It's a purple truck. It's really pretty,
Uh huh.
but it's a nasty little thing too. But the Colorado, I don't think she's decided on anything for it yet.
Well, when it's time, it's just like the 727 thing. You guys are going to see what that is, and
Oh yeah,
it's going to come to you, and you're going to say, "There it is. There's the name right there, man." And that's what I find when I make my songs. Uh, when I create a song, just like when I did with Jeff and Janet Rollins, I told Jeff I see the name of this song being this, and when when it was all said and done, uh, Bow Tie Heart come to mind because the song told me that's what the name should be. And I don't mean, I mean it's just how it says it in the music and stuff. And that's exactly that's why I ran with it. And so every song so far, knock on wood, has given me the direction of the name. That it should be. And I think that's with all songs. I don't think it's just my magic or whatever, but I think it's pretty cool the way that those like 727, how that come about. You've seen it all the time. And it
yeah,
just sticks with
natural.
you. Yeah, exactly. And it gives you a natural feel for it, and a love and a respect for it. And you're like, wow, this was meant to be. So, um, let's see here. I'm going to save that question for the last before I go. So before we let you go, would you like to thank anybody else for helping you and Emma and 727 Motorsports get to where you are today?
Yeah, man, we got a whole group of guys and gals behind us that support us and help us and go to events, and they'll help me change tires and get the truck on the trailer and watch the merch table if we need to go to the bathroom and stuff like that. So I got to give a big, huge shout out to the group, and that's Eddie and Jason and Sam and Ty and man, I don't want to forget anybody. Red and Justin and Sydney. Uh, I got to give a huge shout out to my wife for being my number one fan and number one supporter in everything I do. Um, and then I got to give a huge shout out to all my sponsors and all my partners. With man, they make living this dream possible and make sure that the truck stays ready and make sure I have what I need. And that's Holly Performance Brands, FTI Performance, Brian Tooley Racing, Justified Performance, MRP Fuel Injection, Smith Transmissions, Mike Lau Racing Engines, Southern Outlaw Shop, Custom Wings, Nippers Powder Coating, Goalie Bell Bonds, 50 Caliber Racing, GMSS Fab, Sideline Graphics and Tint, Quick Performance, ICT Billet, Mead Motorsports and Tuning, Monkey Fab Garage, and then of course I've got to give a huge shout out to Skids for Kids and Burnout Nationals for always supporting me and letting me rep their brands.
Cool, man. Sponsorship is very, very important, and it's just hard to do something like you do without somebody helping out in some way, shape, or form. So I'm very happy that you have sponsors and stuff like that. So that's way cool. It really is. So Tyler, what would you tell the young man or young lady sitting in the audience watching you in Panda? Uh, what would you say to them if they were thinking about getting into the burnout world? How would you encourage them to get into it?
Man, just get out there and get as much seat time as possible. Enter every competition that you can. Go to the big competitions. Once your vehicle's ready and you've got some seat time and you feel confident and being able to go out in front of a big crowd and in front of guys that do it. That's the biggest thing. Is it's you know initially it's kind of um, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm sorry, I just drew a blank.
That's okay,
Uh,
man.
it's kind of intimidating is
Okay.
the word I'm looking for. It's kind of intimidating, to go out there at a big show like that if you don't have a lot of experience. But once you get out there and you do one and you come back to the pits and you've got guys coming up to you and they're like, "Hey, man, I don't want to be rude or anything, but I just want to help," and they throw you a pointer. That's it helps build that self-esteem and that confidence to get back out there. And I just really want to push that to people is the fact that if you want to get out there, then get out there. There's no other way to do it but to do it and break the ice. And once the ice is broke, you realize the water's not that cold,
Right.
and from there it's only up. So uh, and get that hot rod ready, throw some tires on it, go get you some practice in, and come hang out and party with us. That's the best advice I got.
That's awesome, dude. So the final question of the night, you know, when the smoke clears one day, and what do you want people to remember you, Emma, and Panda about? What do you want to remember you by?
Man, I hope they just remember us by going out and having a good time, spreading love, and inspiring the next generation to get out there. It's up to us to inspire the next generation.
Right.
And at the end of the day, if we don't do it, nobody else will. So that's the biggest thing is, I pride myself in not gatekeeping information. If I know something, I'll tell you.
Right.
Um, whether it's mechanical advice or burnout advice or whatever the case may be. I don't believe in hiding information, and I really want to be remembered for that. I want to be remembered for sharing what I know and spreading as much positivity as possible.
That's awesome. And I forgot to ask this question earlier. I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget it, and I almost forgot it until I seen it. Can you tell us why her nickname was Panda?
I honestly don't. I don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
Maybe Liz is still listening and she can chime in the comments and drop that for us, or Emma knows, and I know she's in there watching, so maybe she can drop a comment and let us know if she knows. I honestly don't know where Panda came from Miranda,
Uh huh.
um, but I remember when Miranda passed away, her mom and another friend come up and got some tattoos. I did some tattoos on them when we were at the shop, and one of them was a little panda, and that's actually when I was informed that that was a nickname of hers,
Uh huh.
and that just it kind of hit us like a ton of bricks one day. I think the truck was already running. We were cruising down the road, and it was just like a boom, like, oh, that's the name, like you
There
were
you
talking
go.
about earlier,
Yeah.
just naturally, it was like, oh yeah, you
Yeah.
know.
Well, Tyler, I tell you what, I really, really appreciate you. You know how much I mean this. I appreciate you taking the time and telling us your story and telling us Emma's story and telling us Panda's story. I think it was a great one, and I wish you the best in all your competitions and everything that you're doing. I look forward to maybe seeing you one day. If you guys ever need an announcer for one of these shows, I was an announcer for like in the monster trucks forever, man. So I'd be more than happy to come in. I'd like to see a competition one time and just be a part of it, just to say that I did it. That would be pretty
Oh
awesome.
yeah,
So,
we'll have to strap you in the truck with me, man.
dude, I'd get in there so fast. I'd say I'd be in the truck like, Tyler, where are you, man? Come on, let's go, dude. And
Yeah,
then you
let's
tell me,
go.
hey, Roller, get out. I'm the one that sits behind the steering wheel. You get to go over the other seat.
Heck yeah.
All right, brother. Well, you have a blessed day, man. Thank you so much. And, hey, let's keep in touch on some stuff that we talked about, and definitely be my liaison, and let's get some of the word out there for these burnout trucks. All right.
Yeah, let's do it, man. And hey, I don't know if I told you this or not, but one of my bucket list things is driving a monster truck. So,
Oh well,
maybe it's destiny
to
that
be honest with
that
you, the company that I work for or did work for, they have a monster truck school.
no kidding.
Yes,
That's
they
awesome.
do. They have a school, and you can go and you can physically pilot one. They teach you It's an all-day class, man, and they teach you how to drive and do everything. And at the end of the day, man, you're out there playing around and you're the pilot. And there ain't nobody controlling it, man. There ain't no. I mean, of course, we all have the RIIs, and that's called a remote ignition interrupter. And in case something would happen, that's another thing I should ask you too is, do you have something like that as safety? But it's a little walkie-talkie. It's a box that fits inside the truck, and it's just in case something happened where the driver was to get knocked out or something. We can control it. It shuts the power off in the monster truck, and then it just brings the truck to a slow stop. But yeah, that's a really cool safety feature because, you know, you never know. I mean, we're doing something with vehicles that's really not supposed to be done. You know, I mean, vehicles are made to take us from point A to point B, and that's it. And here we are doing things like jumping cars, crushing cars, doing burnouts, going 300 and some miles an hour. So we got to have some safety factors in there, and you just never know. And these RII radios are really very, very crucial in the monster truck world, and I could almost see where it would be something that would be nice to have in your end of it, or in really a lot of the other ones where somebody controlling this radio outside of the truck could shut it off in case something happened. So I think that would be important. Like that guy that climbed up on the wall. If you climbed up on the, the one that if you had somebody that had an RII, you could have shut him off right there, and he would have never done the stupid stuff that he did. You know,
True. I
so
didn't even know those existed. That's pretty funny.
yeah, and I can hook anybody up with a guy that builds them, that sells them, and they're not that expensive, but it's called a remote ignition interrupter, and all it does is just it shuts down the electronicals of the vehicle, and it just allows it to come to a coast. You know, I mean, the motor shuts off completely. So it's pretty cool. So that's another thing, a safety deal you can bring to your board, you know, to your guys and talk to them about it. And if you're interested, I can let you talk to a gentleman that makes them.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, keep that in mind for sure.
Yeah, guaranteed. Well, Tyler, you have a good day, man, and I'll talk to you soon. Okay.
All right, brother. I appreciate it again for having us on.
Anytime, man. You're welcome at any time, bro. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, buddy.
All right. Bye-bye. Well, guys, that's what it's all about, man, right there. You know, building friendships and networking together to where, you know, one hand helps the other hand, and just bringing a sport that somebody has a passion for to, you know, to another level, to help somebody out, you know. So yeah, Cousin Debbie, I thought it was a great show myself. I really did. You know, it come out just the way that I thought it would. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back right here in a minute after a word from our sponsors.
Are you looking for something to jumpstart your podcast or your YouTube intro? Well, if you are, we've got some pretty great news. Now you can get that professional sound just like the big-time productions you hear on the radio. That's right, clean, crisp, powerful audio that grabs attention from the very first second. We help folks just like you bring their content to life, whether you're launching a podcast, building a YouTube channel, or starting that next big thing on TikTok. And let's be honest, it doesn't matter what platform you're on. If your audio doesn't sound right, people tune out. That's where we come in. From intros and voiceovers to full production sound, we'll take what you've got and elevate it to the next level. So if you're serious about sounding like a pro, it's time to step it up. Check out a few samples below and hear the difference for yourself. And when you're ready to get started, contact Roller at jeffrichards327@gmail.com or TexasRich at texasrich@c10americamagazine.com. Your audience is listening. Make sure you sound your best.
Hey, Pueblo, Colorado, shine 'em up and roll 'em out. The streets are coming alive for the fiesta at Mercado. Motors, truck, bike,
at Mercado Motors,
2834 Lake Avenue in Pueblo. Bring the whole family out for an afternoon packed with lowriders, hot rods, classic cars, trucks, motorcycles, SUVs, and those beautiful lowrider bikes. Enjoy live entertainment, food vendors, family activities, mechanical bull, kids area, raffles, trophies, and non-stop fun. Chrome will shine, engines will rumble, and Pueblo will celebrate car culture the way it was meant to be. The Fiesta at Mercado Motors Truck, Bike, and Car Show.
Saturday, September 12th, noon to 5. Don't just hear about it.
Be there!
What makes your ride special? Is it the horsepower, the craftsmanship, or the story behind it? Pedal to the Metal. On Location is hitting the road, and we want to visit your shop. Whether you build monster trucks, restore classic cars, fabricate customs, race, or live the automotive lifestyle, we want to tell your story. We'll bring the cameras, the microphones, and the spotlight to you. Want to be featured? Visit pedaltothemetalpodcast.com and fill out the On Location questionnaire, or email jeffrichards327@gmail.com. Your shop, your passion, your story. Pedal to the Metal. On Location.
Real people, real passion, real stories.
All right. Well, we're back right here, guys, and we just I thought it was just such a great interview with Tyler and stuff, and I really appreciate him being in there and taking the time to sit down with us and talk, you know. I hope you guys found out something a little bit more about the Burnout world and, you know, what it consists of, and another sport that really not a lot of people really know, you know. So that was a fun one. It really was. This next song right here, guys, it's called Quiet Time, and we'll be back here on Pedal to the Metal, Motors and Music.
The sun peeks through my kitchen blinds. Another brand new day. Coffee steaming in my cup while the night still slipped away. I've been blessed with honest work. The good Lord's seen me through. Never had to chase too many dreams just to make a paycheck do. Now these old bones tell stories that my younger heart ignored. Every ache's a little reminder I ain't 20 anymore. So I sit here in the silence while the morning slowly shines, thanking God for one more sunrise in this little piece of time. This is my quiet time before the world comes calling, before the weight of living starts another day of falling. A little coffee, a little prayer, a melody or two, songs I wrote with all my heart, but nobody ever knew. I don't need a spotlight, I don't just a little peace to hold me in this quiet time. The wolves still pace outside the door, they always seem to wait. Bills don't care how old you are or what you've had to face. So I lace these tired boots again and head on down the road, doing everything I know to keep my family afloat. Sometimes I wonder where life went, it sure flew by too fast. Seems like yesterday was just another dream I thought would last. Now tomorrow isn't promised, and that truth is on my mind. Makes these early morning moments feel like treasures every time. This is my quiet time, before the world comes calling, before the weight of living starts another day of falling. A little coffee, a little prayer, a melody or two, songs I wrote with all my heart, but nobody ever knew. I don't need a spotlight, I don't need the grand design, just a little piece to hold me in this quiet time. My family's scattered like the leaves the autumn wind has blown. Some are close and miles away, some are farther though they're home. I pray someday these broken pieces find their way somehow, 'cause love's too short to leave unsaid, especially now. This is my quiet time, where memories all gather, where I count my blessings more than all the things that matter. If these songs outlive this old man, maybe someday they'll find ears. Maybe they'll understand the life behind these words and years. Till the good Lord calls me home, beyond the morning light, you'll find me with my coffee, writing one more line, living every sunrise in my quiet time. The coffee cup is empty now, the music softly plays. Another day's beginning, and I'm thankful for today.
There's a little old tavern I stop by now and then, just a place where working folks unwind when daylight ends. Every time I walk through that old familiar door, there's an old man at the end of the bar, like the night before. He never starts a conversation, never asks your name, never laughs out loud or joins the old jukebox refrain. He just cradles one cold bottle in a weathered, calloused hand,
staring through the silence like he's somewhere else again. He's the old man at the end of the bar, living with a broken heart and an old scar. Some folks think he's lonely, some just passing by, never knowing all the tears he's learned to hide. He's not waiting on tomorrow, he's holding yesterday, where the love he couldn't save never slipped away. Every night he pulls that same old stool out in the dark, the old man at the end of the bar. The bartender and waitress know the story by heart, though they never tell it unless somebody asks. They say 12 years ago, on a cold November night, the rain was falling heavy underneath the traffic lights. She was dressed up for their anniversary, smiling on her way. He'd promised her dinner when he got off late that day, but another job ran overtime and he lost all track of time, while she drove through the storm with "I'll just meet him" on her mind. Just a mile outside of town, her tires lost their hold. The highway gave no second chance on that black and lonely road. The flashing lights, the telephone, every husband's darkest fear. He's carried that one call inside his heart for every year. He still says if he'd left work when he promised he would do, she'd have never been alone, driving through that storm that grew. Though everybody tells him it was never his to bear, regret don't always listen when love is still somewhere. He's the old man at the end of the bar, living with a broken heart and an old scar. Some folks think he's lonely, some just passing by, never knowing all the tears he's learned to hide. He's not waiting on tomorrow, he's holding yesterday, where the love he couldn't save never slipped away. Every night he pulls that same old stool out in the dark, the old man at the end of the bar. Sometimes he'll smile softly at an empty chair nearby, like he can hear her laughing through the music and the night. For just a little moment, she's sitting there once more, then the song fades away and he's alone like before. He's the old man at the end of the bar, still wearing his wedding ring over his heart. Love like that don't disappear because the years roll by. It simply learns to live behind old eyes. When they finally close this little tavern for the last time one day, I hope she meets night apart. No more old man at the end of the bar. So if you see an old man sitting quietly by himself, don't be too quick to judge the story that he never tells. Sometimes the strongest hearts are carrying the deepest scars, just like the old man at the end of the bar.
The Old Man at the End of the Bar, right here on Pedal to the Metal Motors and Music. Guys, we're going to play one more song, and then we're going to get out of here. Got a busy day tomorrow, and it's just time to catch up on some much-needed sleep right here. Been burning the candle at both ends pretty hard, so, excuse me, it is time to do that. So we're going to go out one more time with my tribute song to Brett and Rhonda's son, Jake, and it's called One More Ride, Cowboy, or One More Cowboy Ride, okay? We'll be talking to you guys on Wednesday. Thank you very much for tuning in tonight. We blessed to have Tyler on, and what a great story that was. And also, I love having you guys on here, too, and seeing everybody talking and having a good time. So you guys have a blessed night. I love you guys all, and I'll talk to you soon.
Born beneath that Colorado sky, with cowboy blood and a restless eye. From Cowhand Roads to Elizabethtown, he learned real young how to hold his ground. Football fields and a rodeo dream, a horse beneath him and a good roping team. He didn't need much to know who he was, just an open gate and a little red dust. There's one more cowboy in heaven tonight, one more saddle riding into the light, one more rope swinging high and free across God's range for eternity. Down here we're gonna miss that grin, but we know someday we'll ride again. Till then, Lord, keep that gate open wide. There's one more cowboy on the other side. He joined the PRCA and hit the road, chasing that dream wherever it goes. From Colorado arenas to towns far away, he'd back in the box and come out ready to play. The Mountain States Finals knew his name. Team roping wasn't just some game, it was time and trust and cowboy pride. And Jake gave everything every time he rode inside. There's one more cowboy in heaven tonight, one more saddle riding into the light, one more rope swinging high and free across God's range for eternity. Down here we're gonna miss that grin, but we know someday we'll ride again. Till
Till then, Lord, keep that gate open wide. There's one more cowboy on the other side. He loved good horses, cattle and dogs, early mornings and long days on the job. An old school cowboy through and through. If there was work that needed doing, Jake knew what to do. He could take a horse and bring out the best, with steady hands and cowboy sense. And the people who knew him will always say, men like Jake don't come along every day. Brett and Rhonda raised a cowboy son, Dustin rode beside him through the years that run. And family and friends still speak his name, because 38 years can't measure a man's flame. So when you hear a rope cut through the air, or hoofbeats rolling somewhere out there, maybe that's Jake riding another round on heaven's wide open cowboy ground. There's one more cowboy in heaven tonight, one more saddle riding into the light, one more rope swinging high and free across God's range for eternity. And though goodbye came way too soon, his memory rises beneath every moon, till that day we meet him on the other side. Keep that gate open, Lord, for one more cowboy ride. So hang his rope beside the saddle with pride. Let the Colorado wind carry his name far and wide. A cowboy's trail doesn't end when he goes. It lives in every heart that knew him. Jake Wager. Right on. Right on.
All right, everyone, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Pedal to the Metal. I want to send out a huge thank you to each and every one of you for tuning in and supporting the show. I also want to thank all of our amazing sponsors. You're the ones that help keep the wheels turning, and we truly appreciate you. Be sure to join us every Wednesday and Sunday. We kick things off with music at 6 p.m. each night, and the full show starts at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Until next time, keep the pedal down, heads high, and we'll see you at the next show.